3. All right, welcome everyone to the Learn to Play Good Society session at Virtual JaneCon. I am Lindsay Faber. I'm going to be your facilitator and host for this evening. I am really excited to be here presenting. I have already seen that there are some comments that people are really excited to see this game being played, and I'm particularly excited to see these authors playing. So I'm very ready to get us all started. I'm running a lot of technology with a lot of windows, so I thank everyone for their patience as I get everything going and keep everything going and keep visuals going. So thank you. We've got a wonderful group of authors here with me today to play, and we are all really excited about this experience. So thank you so much to everybody who's tuning in. Thank you to Virtual JaneCon for hosting this event, and I think we are ready to get started. So I am going to do a brief introduction first to the game. Again, I have a lot of windows open, and of course, not the one that I need right at this moment. So we're already off to a really great start. So again, we welcome you to this game of Good Society, a tabletop role-playing game where you get the chance to play out the kinds of stories that you would see in an Austen novel. It is brought to you by Storybrewers Role-Playing, which is a wonderful role-playing company that creates games that are very focused on emotion. So obviously great for those of you who love romance. What we're gonna do is different than, say, a role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons. This is gonna be more of a collaborative storytelling experience. We're gonna create characters, we're going to play out the desires that they're pursuing, we're gonna start rumor and scandal. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Rather than a role-playing game that has like a game master or dungeon master who's creating the world that the characters are playing in, we're all going to work collaboratively to create that world together. And in fact, the facilitator, which is me, can also play a player while they are facilitating, play a character, excuse me, while they are facilitating. I am not doing that this evening because I have a lot of, as you can see, windows to juggle and things to teach, but it is a great way to play, and it's a great aspect of the game that everybody still gets to play a character. The game is available in a beautiful print edition that you can purchase. As you can see sort of here, I know it's very small in what you're seeing. And it is also available as a printable PDF. And in fact, it's the printable PDF pages that we are using tonight for the game to play online. You're also able to get a Google Doc that will allow you to play online if you have friends online, which is great. The game plays 3 to 5 players. As I said, it's run by a facilitator rather than a typical game master or DM. You can play a single session game, as we are doing tonight, or you can play multiple session games that stretch out into 3 or 6 meetings to tell a really long, involved, more complex, awesome story. And unlike role-playing games that tend to rely on dice mechanics, this game is going to have play sheets, some of which you'll see in this, cards, which you're going to see more in the form of spreadsheets in this, and tokens, which again, for this particular game, we are going to track as on a spreadsheet rather than using actual tokens. Great. The game also has some really wonderful expansions if you're interested. There's an expansion in which you can add magic to the game. You can play out adventure stories in sort of Scarlet Pimpernel style. You can add servants as major characters to play more of a Downton Abbey upstairs, downstairs type of game. You can have a murder mystery, and there's so much more. If you're interested in LARPing, live action role playing, after seeing all of the great virtual Gen Con panels on costuming, they also offer a LARP option. I am really excited to be doing this session as part of Virtual Jane Con. At the beginning of this year in the Jane Austen Universe Facebook group, someone came on and said, oh, I have good society. I really want to play with my friends, but I could use some help getting started. Could anybody teach how to play the game? And I was like, oh, I would love to teach how to play the game. And pretty soon we had other people chiming in saying they'd been interested in the game and wanting to see what it was like, or they bought the game and never had a chance to play it. And pretty soon we had 2 different groups of people set up to play some Learn a Game sessions. So that made me feel that clearly there are some people out there who are interested in the game and wanted to have a chance to see it in action or to play it. And so I'm very happy to be able to offer that. Also, in my day job, I work in the book industry. And so I thought, what would be better than combining my love of romance novels and my love of gaming together by bringing some really fun and creative authors in to play this game with us. So I thank them for joining us, and I'm excited to do this. So this session is going to be a great fit for you if you are interested just in seeing what this game is like, if you've been curious, if you were hoping to get a feel for the basic rules and how you would set up a game on your own to play with your friends, or if you are just here to enjoy some really fantastic creative authors playing out some original Austen-esque storytelling live, this is the session for you. So thank you for joining us in that. If you're new to role playing, welcome. I'm really excited to be able to teach people a little bit about that. The rule book has some great guides for collaboration and how to run all of that. I know role playing can be a little bit intimidating. It's a little bit vulnerable to act out characters and share ideas. But what we want here tonight, and in general when you're playing with your friends, is to make the game a safe space for everybody, right? We want everybody here to feel supported, encouraged, and like they have a voice in what is going on. So to that end, this is kind of like a brainstorming session. So just like in brainstorming, there's no bad ideas. If people throw out ideas, we're gonna try and make them work. If you're familiar with improv concepts, there's the idea of yes and, that you always try and embrace somebody's idea and run with it rather than try and stop it. So we're gonna, as much as possible, when people throw out their ideas, try to make sure that we can use them and try and make people feel good about them so that we don't end up with like a Box Hill moment of anybody being embarrassed. There's really no right or wrong answers to everything in role playing. People sometimes get nervous the first time about getting everything right, but the idea is just to have fun. If I or a facilitator throws out a question, asks you to describe the decorations of the ball, I'm not looking for a specific answer. I'm looking for people to be creative and to paint a scene and to give information that might tell something about your character and what they notice. So everything should be comfortable. I want all of the authors here to feel like they can throw out whatever. I want people to feel like they can speak up and share ideas anytime an idea comes to them, even potentially ideas for other players, and we'll get into the best ways to handle that. Obviously, also the important thing is that everybody is having fun and that everybody's having fun playing their characters. The rules are here, of course, to offer some great mechanics that really drive conflict and storytelling. But if we're having a good time and if everybody's boundaries in playing are being respected, we don't have to over worry the rules. So it's fine for everybody to do this. This is going to be a really casual, fun game. We're going to do our best to stick to the rules, but what's going to be more important is that everybody is having a good time, and we're going to let the rules enhance the game rather than rein in our creativity. It's fine for people here, again, to be casual, to take your time. If you need a minute to think through something for your character, that's totally fine. If you want to ask other players for ideas, that's also great. If you want to backtrack, if you start down something and realize, oh, that's not what I want, I want to change it, that's all fine, right? We are not putting on a performance or a play here today. This is all just improv. It's all just brainstorming. If we stop and talk about things, that's great. And that's what we're going to do. The most important part is that we're having fun. I'll remind you all again that this is a live stream, but we are on a 20-second delay. So you guys are seeing this about 20 seconds after we are doing it. And again, I am juggling a lot of windows. So I'm going to try to monitor the chat, but I may not be able to do that at every possible moment. If you have questions, please feel free to go ahead and ask them, and I will do my best to address them if they haven't already been addressed when we go on breaks or when we find a good stopping point to do so, or certainly by the end of the session. I hope my players, please, will all feel free to ask questions at any point during the game, because they are also new to this and here to learn. And I think that more or less covers everything to get us started. So I feel like what I want to do next is to start by introducing some of our authors who are here to play with us. So if I could ask all of them to unmute as I call upon them and join us, that would be great. So first, I am really happy to welcome Eden Appiah-Kubi. Eden is a debut author whose first book, The Bennet Women, is a modern day college set retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and it's out in September. Eden, could you tell us a little bit about your book and your connection to Jane Austen?
Well, The Bennet Women is a story about the pretty close retelling of Pride and Prejudice, with my Elizabeth being EJ, a Black college senior and future engineer, and her best friend, Jamie, a recently out trans woman. And their respective Bingleys are Lee, son of a music producer, and Will, a out-of-work C-list actor fleeing some mysterious Hollywood scandal. But he still thinks he's the coolest thing to happen to this campus. So lots of hijinks ensue. And it's a good time, I think. And let's see, me and Austen, like a lot of folks, I love classic lit from a very young age. My mom read me Jane Eyre in 4th grade, so I was like, had a firm belief coming to high school that like the best author was a dead author, which is not great for me now. But I read Pride and Prejudice in high school and really appreciated all the plot and the characters and the twist. Well, I struggle with books where I'm annoyed with people. I still finish Great Gatsby because of that, but like I've come to love it more and more over the years. So that's my typical Austen introduction was P&P.
Amazing, thank you. Eden's book is amazing. I'm really excited for it to come out. So definitely look for that. And there are pre-order links and links to probably everything I'm going to talk about in the description. The description has so many links in it. So please check all of them out when this is finished. Next, I'm really happy to welcome and introduce Darcy Burke. Darcy is a USA Today bestselling author of captivating, compelling historical romance and also some contemporary romance. Darcy has an amazing new series called The Phoenix Club that is releasing later this month, the first book. Darcy, could you tell us a little bit about your series and your connection to Austen?
It's backwards, but anyway, this is the first book, Improper. It's called Improper because it's sort of a classic romance trope with a guardian and his ward, who he has just inherited from his father, who's just died. And she comes from a very small town called Bitterly, which I think is really funny. So she comes from Bitterly and comes to London and is very overwhelmed and excited and happy to be out of her small town and get to do some living. What she doesn't realize is that her new guardian is anxious to get her married off because he needs to get married off himself and he needs her out of his way so that he can focus on finding his bride. As you can imagine, if the guardian maybe decided his ward would be a good wife, well, that would be extremely improper. So that's where that goes. My connection to Jane Austen, well, a lot of people think it's my name because my name is Darcy Elizabeth. True story. And people come up to me at romance things and go, "Oh, you named after Pride and Prejudice?" No, my mom just really liked the name Darcy, and Elizabeth's a family name. So the irony of that is that my mom is actually from England, and when she moved to the United States, she was 8 or 9, and in high school she still had her accent, and they did Pride and Prejudice, the play, and my mom is very much not an actor kind of person, but they were like, "You have to be in it, you have to be in it because you have your accent." So she's like, "Okay, I'll be a maid or something." So my mom was in Pride and Prejudice, but didn't name me after the characters, and there you are. But as far as Jane herself, I'm going to admit something terrible and say that I've not read all of her books, but I have read like most of them. So, and I think Sense and Sensibility is my favorite. So.
Excellent choice. Well, thank you, Darcy, for joining us. Next up, we have Tessa Dare. Tessa Dare is a New York Times and award-winning author of historical romance. You may know her for her popular series like Spindle Cove and Girl Meets Duke. Tessa, could you tell us a little bit about your series and your connection to Jane Austen?
Well, me and Jane go way back. She's actually, her signature is tattooed on my wrist. So if you want to know how devoted I am, I think that says it all. I think, and I started out before I wrote Regency romance, I wrote Jane Austen fan fiction, Jaff, as we call it. So, and I think maybe some of it's still out there somewhere. So, that's how I got into writing Regency romance. My Spindle Cove series was basically all taken from the premise of the militia coming to Meryton, except instead of Meryton, I made a little village on the coast, which was entirely populated by and run by women. Spindle Cove, let's see. My most recent book is called Girl Meets Duke, and it's 3 women who live in London, and I put little shout outs to Austen in a lot of my books. I don't know if it's in every book, but it's in a lot of books. I will say that my favorite couple is Darcy and Elizabeth because like imprinted on them like a baby chick. But just to be different, I will say that my favorite novel is Emma. Bold hot take there, because I know that it's not always the most favorite, but I actually like the fact that Emma is a little bit difficult to love, and I enjoy the fact that she has a good heart, but she makes mistakes. And I think that's one of the best things about Austen is she taught us how to write novels where the characters make mistakes and are flawed, but they change. And that's how they earn their happy ending. So I find this very relatable as somebody who makes mistakes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Tessa. And finally, we have Sonali Dev here with us. Sonali is a USA Today bestselling author of Bollywood-style love stories, including a couple popular Austen modernizations, Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors, Recipe for Persuasion, and coming this summer, in Sense and Sensibility. Sonali, could you tell us a little bit about your books and your connection to Jane Austen?
Those are, yeah. Okay. So,
Pretty.
So I'm so glad someone's favorite is Sense and Sensibility because that's coming, Darcy. Okay, so so my connection with Jane Austen also goes, that's not what's tattooed on my wrist, but it's tattooed on my soul. So my introduction to her, amazingly enough, was through a retelling. I grew up in India, and when I was in 6th or 7th grade, this is back in the 80s, there was a TV show that retold Pride and Prejudice. And this was back in the time when there were not 7,000 channels on TV, but we had a few hours of, evening programming. And so this was a big deal. And it was the first time that I saw a female protagonist in any story who was contrary, who had opinions, who did not pander to men, who basically did not in any way change how she presented to the world to be liked by men or anyone else. So it was like finding my soul outside of myself, because it reinforced all the things I naturally believed. And I was not seeing in the society around me. I was not seeing, reflected anywhere. So she to me was, I think, life channeling, like the literal course of my life changed because of Jane Austen novels. Because from that moment, I ran out and, this was a big thing. Oh, this is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. And so again, that was my first book. That was my introduction to her. And I ran to my school library, read it, have read it, a million times since then. But again, like Darcy, I am not a huge, Northanger Abbey and Mansfield Park did not capture my imagination quite like the other four did. And I think long before I knew I was going to be a writer or knew anything, I had this dream of somehow telling these stories in my way, because they taught me so much. So these are not retellings so much as they're homages to what I learned as a person growing up. And they're basically set in this politically ambitious Indian American family who are descended from Indian royalty, live in San Francisco, have built, this very Indian Kennedy's-esque life for themselves, and their oldest son is running for California governor. And this is the overarching arc of all four novels. The series kicks off with the gubernatorial race being announced and it ends with the election. And the four novels are Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion, Sense and Sensibility, and the last one is Emma. And that was my big dream, like the dream that was even a dream before I was published. And I always knew I was going to do something like that. And I'm on book 3. I just handed in the Emma book, which comes out next year. So that is my Austen connection. And she's in everything I write also. I pay, the little homages, the bad proposals, the misunderstandings overheard, all of that, always.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, thank you guys all for being here. It is very much appreciated. I'm excited to play with you, and we have quite a number of viewers here who are excited to watch all of us play. This is a learn a game situation, so we have a varying amount of role-playing experience here at this table. I have been role-playing for 5 or 6 years in different games, starting with D&D and then working into more indie games. I believe, Darcy, you have some history in role-playing games?
Yes, I played Dungeons and Dragons in high school, and I actually played it a couple of summers ago with some writer friends and our daughters, and it was really fun. She made us little characters with her 3D printer. It was great. We need little Jane Austen characters.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. And Eden, you have also been brought into a game or two, right?
Yes. Most recently, my husband had a fun Dungeons and Dragons campaign going with some good friends, and I got to be an NPC. I think it's preparing me for my role today as a chatty older lady a couple of times, and I got to drop my pumpkin on someone's head. And you remind me, back in high school, I also played Vampire the Masquerade, which probably dates me as a person, but yeah. So there's a little role playing here and there. Forgot to say, favorite Austen is Persuasion. So I think the most about Pride and Prejudice, but Persuasion, it has my heart.
Amazing, amazing. Tessa, I know is I think the only other person who's played Good Society before, because she has played it with me. And I think, was that your first role-playing experience?
Yeah, I have never played. My son's really into D&D. He's the DM of his group, but I know a bit about it, but I have never played an RPG myself. So this was a great way to be introduced.
Great. And Sonali, I believe this is your first time role playing.
Virgin, completely. I have to go Google RPG. So which totally, doesn't just date me, that just explains my entire level of uncoolness. It's like, what is RPG? But yeah, that's where we're starting from scratch.
Great. Well, again, this is all just going to be a casual game. Everybody's going to do great. Though these authors may not have the most role-playing experience per se, all of them have great character building and storytelling experience, obviously. And this game, one of the things I love most about this game is it really just is kind of like a big brainstorming session where we're going to come up with interesting characters, and then we're going to try out scenes and dialogue, and we're going to do our best to build fulfilling story arcs throughout this experience. So if we're all ready, I think we're going to go ahead and jump in to the first part of game setup, and that is collaboration. So I am going to put our collaboration document up here for people to follow along. So the first thing that we want to do as a group is we want to sort of set the tone and the feel for what the game is. Make sure everybody's on the same page about the kind of story that we are telling. So normally we would go over all of these things that I'm about to bring up, and we would discuss them, and we would decide what makes the most sense for the story we're interested in telling tonight. This collaboration phase is not going to seem like the most collaborative because I'm going to go over choices that we've already discussed. And if you're playing the game with friends for the first time or beginners, often they're going to look to you to make recommendations of how to make these choices anyway, because they're not going to know enough about the game, or in some cases role playing at all, to know what they want to do. So you may want to guide them through choices. And in this case, I'm going to point out our choices, which I think are some of the better choices for first time players and also for short games, which is the situation that we are in tonight. So you can see I brought up this collaboration document. This again is part of a Google document. I believe there's a sheet otherwise if you are playing at a tabletop. And the first question this is going to ask us is, what tone should the story have? And if I click here, you're going to see that there are 3 different choices. Obviously, we can play something more of a drama, more like a Mansfield Park or Persuasion. We could choose a romantic comedy in the vein of Pride and Prejudice or Emma, or we could go all out Oscar Wilde style farce. But these choices about tone aren't just choices about, say, how much humor or how much angst the story is going to have. They're actually choices about realism and how intense the consequences are going to be. So obviously a dramatic game, when you have complex problems, we're going to have to work out real meaningful solutions to those problems. In a farce, we're just going to let Deus Ex Machina at the end take care of everything. So obviously for a shorter game, something where we can wrap things up more quickly is going to be a little bit to our advantage. And also, we have authors here who are great at writing really wonderful angst and emotion, and we have authors here who are really funny. So we're going to take the middle road and say that this is a romantic comedy, right? We're going to embrace, if there's some dramatic moments, we're going to embrace some melodramatic over-the-top humor if it comes along. But in general, we're going to try for that middle ground. The next question that this is going to ask us is, how important is historical accuracy to us? And again, there's 3 levels that we could choose from. If you and your friends are really into research and the Regency period, and you really want historical events to shape your game, saying that this is very important could be a lot of fun for you. If you're playing with people who maybe don't know as much about Jane Austen, this game actually, you don't have to know a great deal about Austen to play it. If you want to play with friends who just like role playing or storytelling, maybe a little important would be a better way to go. Also, a little important can be great if you just want to focus on telling a good story no matter what. If you're going to say that if Napoleon invades Brazil so that we can tell a good tale, we are here for that, then that's great too, right? I think, again, we've decided we're going to take the middle road. We do have some Regency knowledge here at the table based on the authors who are playing. So we're going to certainly draw on that knowledge if we have questions or need to know if things feel accurate. But we're not going to stop and look up what year a champagne glass was invented, right? We're going to focus mainly on the characters and storytelling and weave the history into the best of our ability. I think this choice or a little are better for shorter games because, again, we don't really have the time to do additional research or to stop and to look things up. So this will be great. The next question the game asks is, how are we going to treat the gender power balances? So this is a question of who can inherit wealth or titles, who can hold careers in the military or clergy, and who is most likely to be the pursuer in a romantic relationship. Obviously, Austen was very interested in questions like these, and she was writing in everyone's favorite Regency patriarchy. So there's the option to do things historically, to stick with the patriarchy, and like Austen and like some of the authors here today, have some fun sort of pushing at those boundaries or subverting the patriarchy. The game also offers a couple really fun ways to play. For example, you could turn the gender power balance off and we could say that everybody can inherit, everybody can have careers, and that can be a lot of fun. Or we can just do a total flip and have a wonderful Regency matriarchy and say that women can hold careers and power and inherit, which is also a great way to play. Really, I think if your group is interested in one way, any way can be fun for a beginner group or a learning group. In this case, we're going to stick with the historical patriarchy just because it takes a little less brain power to do that. And if you're not going to jump in and immediately say, create a woman in the military to remind us that it all happens, I think it's sometimes easy to sort of slip back into the patriarchy. So since we're already balancing a lot here today, I think we've decided just to stick with historical. It also asks us how much hidden information will be used in the game. The game allows for some hidden information, which I will explain a little bit about when we get to. We can say some or none. We are not going to have any hidden information in this game. Again, for a learning game, it's better if everybody knows everything. If all players' cards are on the table, because then we can just help each other. We can learn from each other. And I think playing with authors who are used to having control over all the characters, and as romance novelists, we're sort of used to being able to be in everybody's head. I think it's a little bit easier for us to all know what everybody's goals are and how everybody is related. So the next question that we get to in collaboration, which I can finally bring our players back to collaborate for, is there anything our game should avoid? Obviously, the point of this game is for everybody to have a really good time. And we don't want to put content into our game that isn't going to be fun for somebody, right? So whether it's something that might be uncomfortable or controversial or traumatic, like maybe right now we don't want to have widespread illness or a pandemic in our game, or whether it's something that simply just doesn't interest you, right? Maybe you don't like secret babies or you don't want the story to take place in Bath. I think we want to ask your players what it is that they want to make sure isn't a part of the game. So what do we think? Is there anything that we want to eliminate from our game tonight?
Well, I think, oh, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and say no sexual violence or assault.
Great. I think that's a good one. Other topics?
Nobody wants to see animals die.
Okay, no animal death.
Sadly,
Agreed.
we're much better about watching people die in fiction than we are with animals. I don't know. We can cut out death altogether, but animals in particular, nah.
Okay. Yeah, we can cut out death altogether. Anything else? Okay. I am going to add this back into our spreadsheet in just a moment. The other thing that we can use and the game allows for is what's called an X card, which is becoming more and more popular in tabletop gaming. And an X card would typically be a card with an X that we would put onto the table. And at any time that we were role playing and in the moment, and somebody felt like we were getting into content that they are uncomfortable with, they could touch that X card as a sign to everybody that they're not having fun and that we want to sort of rewind back to before we got onto this topic. Obviously, the players are also welcome to say if we get into content that they don't want to do or things that we've forgotten to put on this list. But sometimes with a group of 5 people talking, it's hard to get people's attention, or no one should have to feel like they have to justify why there's something that they don't want to play in the game. So the second anybody touches an X card, we would stop what we were doing. In this case, we don't have an X card at the table, so I'm going to suggest that the players put an X into chat for me, or maybe more helpfully, because of everything that we're watching, maybe kind of visually give an X, and then we will all know to sort of stop where we are and cycle back a little bit to the last thing they were enjoying. The other thing that you can use with the game is an O card, which is sort of the opposite of an X card. It allows you to say like, oh, I'm interested in where this is going. I want more of what this is. Or in the case, I like to sometimes use it as like a way of saying like, I'm interested in where this is going for the moment, right? It's kind of more of also like a caution signal. So for example, if Tessa and I are in a scene and I say, oh, look into the street, it's a baby goat and a carriage is bearing down on it. We know that Tessa doesn't want there to be violence against baby goats. So she would have every right just to say X and to stop that scene. On the other hand, it could be, obviously, Tessa doesn't want any death to come to baby goats, but it could be that if a hero is about to run into the street and sweep the baby goat up into his muscular forearms, that could be something she might really enjoy, right? So she might want to indicate that like she's interested in where this is going, even though we're getting close to territory that I know is something that she doesn't want in the game. So both of those are available to our players if needed. The next question that the game is going to ask is there anything that we do want to see in the game, right? Anything that like we're really excited about having as part of our game. And obviously this is collaborative. Everybody's going to get to play their own player. Everybody's going to give input on the kinds of scenes that we're doing. So we don't need per se a laundry list of everything that has to happen in the game. But like if there's something that really like brought you to the table, something that feels so quintessentially Austen that you really want to make sure it happens. For example, maybe you really want to watch a conversation that happens during a dance. Or maybe you really want someone to come out of the pond in a wet shirt, right? Like those are the kind of things we want to go ahead and note for our game. Also, I'll say if people in the chat want anything in our game, you are welcome to put it in the chat. I can make no promises for what we can include, but I'll certainly try and look at those suggestions and see if there's anything fun that we can draw from there. So is there anything that we like absolutely want to have in our game tonight?
Ballrooms would be nice if we get there, or some sort of ball.
A ball, okay, yes, a popular choice.
Let's do the lake. Let's do the man coming out of the lake.
Okay. Great.
How many of us are men here? Just me and Eden, right? So we got to fight for who gets to come out of the
Hey, we can do
Why not two?
Double the fun.
That's true.
It'll be great.
We could get in a fight in the lake.
We'll get there when we come to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like this idea. I'm making a note.
Trails,
The first ever water polo duel.
I love it.
The fair Maya.
And if we're gonna do a man coming out of a lake, I'm also gonna put in a request for maybe some like ungloved hand touching, like maybe kind of a hand flex moment. Like we really have to hit all the good Pride and Prejudice movie tropes, right? So let's do that. So I am going to add those to our sheet, and then I am going to get us ready for the character creation phase. As you can tell, we already have done some work towards the character creation phase, but I'm still going to walk everyone through how it would work exactly. So I'm going to do this by bringing up, again, this Google document that we are working with, which is in place of the character sheets that we would normally be filling out, but it's very convenient and helpful for online play, which is great. So what we have here is a set of 4 characters who people can choose to play. The game is really great. It offers a lot of pre-made play sets that help you figure out what kind of characters with desires and relationships might work well together in a game. And this is in fact taken from a pre-made play set that I think actually came from the Storybrewers Discord. So the way that people will choose characters is that every character is going to have a desire. This desire is their driving force. It's the thing that they are hoping to accomplish by the end of the game, and that hopefully that they will accomplish at the end of the game. That's our goal collaboratively, is to help everybody accomplish their goal. Though of course, if you are interested in playing a more villainous character, or if you're just interested in a different type of character arc, not accomplishing a goal could also be an interesting story to tell. So we can see that there are desires put across here for each of these characters that they are going to have. Typically, if you were playing at a tabletop version, there would be a card that would have the desire and all of the relevant information on it. And on the flip side of that card would be a Jane Austen quote. And by letting characters only make their choices based on the quotes rather than the actual desires, that's how you would play with hidden information, right? Then everybody would choose and they wouldn't know what the other character's desires actually were. In this case, we do know everybody's desires. So for example, we have a character here on the left who is hoping to protect a younger sibling from an ill and make sure they marry who you choose. So we also have a character who is trying to determine a true love's feelings and reestablish an engagement. A character who is trying to court their intended while becoming secretly engaged to the object of their affections, and a character who needs to restore their family name and resume their place in society. There's additional information, again, on the cards. In this case, if you roll over the desire in the spreadsheet, it is listed here. It contains a little bit of backstory and anything additional that you have to do. So like we have a character tonight who has to create a scandal about why their family fell from grace. And we have a character who has to create a mandatory connection, which I will talk about when we get to connections. And in this case, we know, for example, that this character's parents are deceased. So you want to make sure that you look at and use all that information, but not feel bound by it, because we are certainly making some changes to some of these backstories to better fit the story that we wanted to tell. The other important thing in choosing characters and letting people choose characters is to look at the character role sheets and the family background sheets. So each character represents a kind of Austen type of character or a Regency type. In this case, this character is a cornerstone. That is kind of a Fanny Price type character, or a Anne Elliot. I'm going to bring up if you give me just a second, here we go. I'm going to bring up this sheet. So everybody will also get this character sheet that goes along with their character. This is the character sheet for the cornerstone. You can see that, I'm going to use my arrow. You can see that there's some information about the character role, a place to fill out if we were filling out these sheets, some information about what the cornerstone trope is, a reminder to the players of how we're going to play collaboratively, some information on connections we'll get to, and this right side of the sheet we're not going to worry about for right now. We're already throwing a lot of information at you, I know, so we can come back. And the illustration here is just to be beautiful. Your character can look however you would like them to look and be of whatever gender you would choose, regardless of which character type you play. So Darcy is playing our cornerstone tonight, so she's used some of this information to build her character. The other information that is going to be needed is information on family background, which would help if I switched back to a mouse. Okay, and so everyone is going to have a family background sheet also to help with building their character. And this is sort of the family of origin that your character comes from. You can see again that there's some description. Darcy's character is going to end up being old money because of her sibling. So there's information about old money. There's some information about reputation, which I'm going to talk about. But this will also help you create your character, but it doesn't have to entirely reflect your character. So for example, just because you have an old money background, that's really can be about your character's status and who their family was. That doesn't mean that your character has to be rich. Or if you were to say have a military family background, that doesn't mean that your character in a gameplay with the patriarchy has to be a male. It's just about the origins of your family and how your character might have reacted to those origins. So there are a lot of ways to play that. So what we would do is let everybody look at these options and again, switch to a mouse arrow and choose the kind of character that they think that they are most interested in choosing. In our case, everyone has already chosen their characters. Darcy's going to play the cornerstone, as I said. Sonali is going to play her sister. Tessa and Eden are going to play potential heroes. And we're going to get into all of those characters in just a moment. I often recommend that you do not want to necessarily jump into character names or ages until you've gotten to the next step, which is relationships, because sometimes those relationships will affect the choices that you are making. For example, as I said, Darcy and Sonali are going to be playing siblings. And so in that case, they may want to decide, are they full siblings or half siblings? Do they want to use the same name? Who's the older? So all of those can sort of affect the choices about, say, surnames or age of character. And in some cases, it might even affect the choices about gender as we get everybody set up. So sometimes it's best not to get too far into that before we have gotten to the next step. And the next step is relationships. So the next thing your players are going to do is establish how everybody is related to everyone else. In an Austen novel, everybody is interconnected. That's what keeps bringing people together to tell a great story, right? So Elizabeth's good friend, Charlotte, marries someone who's employed by Lady Catherine, who is Darcy's aunt, and Darcy's childhood friend ends up in Meryton in the militia, and Elizabeth's aunt wants to go to Derbyshire to visit Pemberley. And so everybody has all of these ways of being interconnected, and we want our characters to reflect that. So again, every character will have a relationship card that will show how they are connected to some other character. So in this case, this first player, the character is an older sibling of another character. And so typically our players would each have a card. Darcy would have an older sibling card and she would give it to somebody else, and somebody else would give their card to somebody else, and we would create a network that way. What we want to keep in mind, again, is keeping everybody interconnected. So we don't want Darcy and Sonali just to swap cards, and for Eden and Tessa just to swap cards. We need to sort of build a set of relationships that goes from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. Sometimes it's helpful to do this, especially if you're doing it online in this way, by kind of drawing out a web of some sort. but sometimes it's helpful to pre-think through as the facilitator what connections might make sense so people have the right family and the right potential love interests. But again, we have already pre-made these decisions, which we are going to share with all of you. And I think before we get into into things like reputation and resolve tokens and connections, I think maybe it would be a good time to start introducing our characters. Is everybody ready to do that? Great. Darcy, your character was further to the left, so could you start by introducing us to your character? Actually, I'm going to very quickly bring up our actual spreadsheet, I think, and share this. So as you can see, we have set all of this up. We've filled out some rough descriptions of our characters. So yeah, Darcy, would you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the character you'll be playing tonight?
Hi, so I am Beatrice Bradford. I am 25, which means I'm pretty much on the shelf, if you will. I have not married because I've been very focused on raising my younger sister, Maya, and trying to keep a rein on my older brother. Our parents are no longer with us, so it is up to me to guide the family and keep everyone in line, which has made me a bit of a blue stocking, which is another reason I'm not married. Nor do I want to be, because I don't need that. So my goal in life is to get my sister wed and keep my brother from being an idiot. And I would prefer to marry my sister Maya to the very charming and at some point to be quite wealthy Captain Maine. So yeah, I think that about does it for now. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Right. Thank you. And so Sonali, you are playing her sister. Could you tell us a little bit about your character?
Hi, I'm Maya Bradford, and Beatrice's younger sister. And I can't remember our full older brother's name because we haven't come up with it yet.
We'll get to it.
But I often get that I'm exactly like Mary from Something About Mary, because to know me is to love me. And many men have swooned at the sight of me, since men now swoon in our world. I had to let go of my one true love for appearances, and I yearn for him every day in every part of my body. And he is back from war, and I want nothing more than to know how he feels. He's naturally very angry with me because I chose to let him go because of a scandal in his family. And being my older sister is a bit managing and annoys me more than anyone else in the world, but I love her more than anybody else in the world and do want her to be happy. And she's put all her hopes in me. And so I'm going to not let her down, because I tend to let people down without meaning to.
Wonderful, thank you. And then Tessa, can you tell us a little bit about your character?
I don't know. I'm not going to try to keep up a male voice. I am a naval captain. Looks just like me, right? Feel free to imagine him as Johnny Bailey playing Anthony Bridgerton. I am Captain Marmaduke, Duke, Maine. And I am technically the new arrival, although I have connections to almost all of these people here, so they've met me before. I'm back from the Navy, where I served with my BFF, ride or die, Theo, who you will yet meet. My aunt is going to give me a bunch of money if I marry in a way somebody who pleases her. So kind of a think Willoughby, Frank Churchill sort of situation, you know, the aunt who's always threatening to die, but doesn't quite. And so I am courting officially Maya Bradford. However, my heart is secretly, and my intentions are to marry B, but my affections and interests have been piqued by Beatrice Bradford instead. So I will have that classic sort of love or money dilemma. I like the finer things in life, can be a little bit materialistic because I grew up poor, and I can be very charming.
Wonderful. Perfect. Very excited. And finally, Eden, can you introduce us to your character? You're on mute still.
I was just getting the character, guys, so I just needed a moment. I am Theophilus Harriet Delacroix, recently returned to Hampshire to restore my family name. I'm usually more of a solo character ever since the scandal, but through our time in the Navy, I've become good friends with the Duke and have decided that the time has come for me to return home and set things right. Even does involve seeing Maya again.
Yeah,
I
Maya.
am Theophilus to the world, but to Maya I am Theo. Only to Maya. Theo. But never mind that. I am here to restore my family name. I am very rich, but not respected. Kind of hard to get to know. Pretty annoying for someone who has such a bad reputation. But I am very good friends with this charming poor guy. And we ride each other's coattails.
Amazing. So as everyone can see, we have a really wonderful cast of characters. So we obviously met earlier to set all of this up. So you're really not getting to see exactly the character creation process. But to do it well takes a little bit of time, and we wanted to focus that time tonight on our game. But what would typically happen would be that after everybody has sort of chosen their character types and we've sorted out the relationships, as we kind of work together then to build these characters' backstory and to determine how all of this would go, right? So asking questions like, why is it that Darcy's character is so determined for Maya's character to marry a certain way? Or what is the scandal that has create a problem for Eden's character? We kind of asked a bunch of questions like that and kind of discussed everybody's relationships and just used what people felt called upon, either from their desire cards or from their own ideas about their relationships, to build these characters, which, as you can see, have turned out amazing. And we're about to give these characters a really great story. But I'm going to go through a couple more aspects things, including some additional characters that are being played tonight right now. So after you have basically set up your characters and have all of this taken care of, we want to move on to reputation tags. There's going to be a reputation phase a little later in the game that I'm going to talk more about when I get there. But basically, every character is known by society for something positive and negative. We want to know something good about each character, and we want to know something negative about each character. And our reputations are going to fluctuate throughout the game depending on their actions. Either we're going to continue to accumulate good reputation, or we may find ourselves falling in deeper into negative reputation. So we have to have a place to start. So you can see here on the sheet that all of the characters have come up with some reputation tags that they thought worked for their characters, and we will use them, and I will talk more about how that will work. The next thing that it was important to do is to create connections for these characters. Because Jane Austen books aren't just full of major players, there's a lot of wonderful minor characters who are part of the story, who are there to influence the major characters. So it's not just Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. Elizabeth has a mother who's trying to do all this matchmaking. And she has two wild younger sisters who are making her life difficult. And she has a sister who is her confidant. And she has an unwelcome suitor in Mr. Collins. These are the types of characters you might play as a connection. So each character gets to choose the connection that they want to have. And they can very helpfully, thanks to the game, do this by using the connection cards that are provided. So are the connection cards up on the screen now? Is that what's happening? Thank you. Great. So the game comes with a bunch of cards. People can look through and choose what kind of connection they think makes sense. As you can see, it gives a little bit of a description of the connections, which just helps you, adds a little fun to the game. A lot of these characters are very, very fun characters. And it saves you from coming up with original characters, though of course you may come up with original characters, and we have one original character also. As some examples, some characters who are going to be part of our game tonight. This is Dennis. So you can have a nice visual of Dennis, who is the brother of Beatrice and Maya. We have Jasper. Jasper is another suitor who just can't seem to stay away from Maya. And we have, there's great characters in the other way. Stephanie, and Stephanie is the sister of Theophilus. So I'm gonna let these, I'm gonna let our players tell you a little bit more about these characters, because in fact, they are going to be playing these characters also. But of
Lindsay,
course, yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, have you forgotten someone?
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
And I have not, believe me. So obviously these characters are going to be played by other people, right? Darcy probably shouldn't play her brother, because then when Darcy has to have scenes with her brother, she would just be talking to herself, and that's not what we want. So instead, we have swapped connections so that everybody will be playing somebody else's connection in the game. And though there are many wonderful connections provided for us, sometimes there's a good reason to make up just an original connection that you envision. And in this case, we have created a original aunt for Tessa's character, Duke Maine, which is Lavinia Maine, his aunt, to be played by Eden. So can I ask each of you to, who is playing the character, to say something about them, or does the creator want to say something about them? Typically, the creator, the original character, so Tessa would create her own aunt, and she would decide what her aunt's personality is and the role in her aunt's life, and then pass it over to another character to play as she has outlined, but of course, welcome to bring other things to it.
To be completely honest, I know my own character better than I know the one that Eden is playing.
Great. That's what I was.
Can we just introduce the ones that we're playing?
Yes, please. That will be less confusing for the audience as well, I think. Yeah, so please, actually, Tessa, then could you start and introduce the character you are playing?
Okay, I am playing Dennis, or Denny. We're just going to say Dennis, who is the older brother of Bea and Maya. And as we saw in the cards, he's sort of flippant, and he wants to marry well. As Bea's older brother, he thinks Bea is too serious. He's very quick-witted and good at conversation. Just kind of wants everybody to loosen up, have some fun, and eventually marry well.
Amazing. And Darcy, you are going to play Jasper Wilcox. You're muted.
Thank you. I forgot that I was playing Jasper. I was like, did I get one of these characters before? I don't remember. That's terrible. So I'm socially awkward, but I'm really nice, and I think Maya is beautiful and sweet, and I would like to get to know her better. I know she's being courted by Captain Maine, and I probably can't compete with him, but maybe I can try. And so, yeah, that's who I am.
Wonderful. And then Eden, you have a character you're just desperate to unveil.
I am Aunt Lavinia Maine, Mama Duke's aunt. He is the apple of my eye, and basically my pastime, because I'm an old rich woman, and there isn't much I can do besides control my young hobby nephew's life. Living in a scarf, so when I am Theophilus, Lavinia, that's helpful. I am gossipy, but it's classy when I do it. I also love everything French. I'm still weeping over the reign of terror and the loss of so many great noblemen and women during that time. I detest Napoleon. I think he's a horrible upstart, and applaud my young heroes of the Navy. And so it's my duty for them to protect the true France through the fear of Napoleon. And I'm really just a old gossipy person with lots of money, which makes my qualities good judgment and reverence. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. She's gonna be a lot of fun. And finally, Sonali, you are playing Theo's sister, Stephanie.
I am. I'm playing Theo's sister. Did we do anything with her, or am I just making her up on the fly? Can't seem to remember.
Question.
She's the one who sort of humanizes Theo. She's sort of like, you have to get over our past, you have to move past. She's probably going to be a big driver in his turnaround to actually becoming a person, as opposed to like a one-man reputation fixing machine.
She's like the good angel on his shoulder, maybe.
Yeah, and she's
Okay.
funny and witty, and she married well despite their past and is rich. And so she's like, seriously, what's your problem? You're a rich man. Just get over what happened.
So older sister, younger sister?
Older sister.
She's the older sister. And
Yeah, but
likes,
slightly.
she doesn't like that Maya person because, you know, she's caused so much pain for Theo. And B actually might set everything right, because she's how women need to be, capable and, you know, gets shit done. And so I'm totally team B right now. And which is a journey I'm going to have to make, because I have to realize that Theo's happiness lies where his love is. So
I love it. It's gonna be great. Amazing. So what is going to happen now? We have created our characters, we've done reputation tags. I think that we have everything we need to get started, which means that we are going to begin the cycle of play. If you can see on the far right of the screen, there is a list of what's going to happen during cycle of play. We're going to start with a novel phase. This is a phase where we're just going to set a scene, and we're going to role play through it, creating dialogue and conflict and romance. It's going to be great. Then at the end of a novel phase, we move on to a reputation phase, which means we have to look at what everybody did during the novel scene and see whether that's improved their reputation or whether their reputation has taken a hit from their actions. I'll explain how that phase works when we get there. Then we're going to get to the really fun rumor and scandal phase, where we're going to start some rumors about some characters and see how that runs through our story. In fact, we already have a couple of rumors going. It was part of Theo's card to start a rumor about his family scandal. And so we know that his father died in a duel after accusing someone of an affair with his wife. And then forced out of society with that scandal, his wife now resides in a nunnery. We did not necessarily need to create a second rumor, but because it ended up that Theo and Maya had this public history. We created a rumor that they were once engaged and that he left her for the Navy after his family scandal. Though it turns out there's more to this story, and maybe Theo was honorably covering for something else. So we'll perhaps learn more about that during our game. After we start some rumors, we're going to have an epistolary phase to the story where we're going to write some letters back and forth to each other and see that play out. And then we'll have seen sort of every phase of the game that happens, and we'll sort of keep going through the same types of phases. We'll do more novel scenes, more reputation, more epistolary, and then upkeep. Though we probably won't do much upkeep in this game because it's really too short to need it. And again, we'll learn more about all of these as we play through them. So the one last thing we haven't covered is tokens. And I'm thinking let's take like a 5-minute break and then come back and I'll explain very quickly how tokens work. And then we will jump into our first novel phase and decide what that should be. Does that work for everyone? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to suggest you guys can mute, and if you want to turn off your video and take a 5-minute break. To our viewers, thank you so much for being here. If you can just bear with us for 5 minutes, we're going to let everybody refill their drinks and use the bathroom if they need to, check on kids and animals. And I'm going to try and catch up with the chat myself. So we will see you all in about 5 minutes. I hope that you all also enjoy a quick break. And I'm going to, let's see, once again, find something to put up on the screen for you. I'm back. I have put up our play sheet so that we're ready to go. Thank you to everybody who is watching and who is participating in the chat. I managed to catch up and see everything that people have been talking about. And I love that there are so many fans of Good Society here, giving great tips and advice and talking about the game, which is so much fun. Thanks to everybody who has thrown out some ideas. I think some of our players have been watching them, and maybe we're going to see what we can do to incorporate some of them in the time that we have. And yeah, I think this is going to be fun. I'm excited to get into the actual play of the game. I thank everyone for listening to me talk for so long. I'm excited to see our player characters do more with their characters and to really get into telling this story. Yeah, I think we're just waiting for a couple people to come back, and then we will get this going because we've got a lot of storytelling to do. I feel like people are more or less back. I'm going to go ahead and start explaining how tokens work. And I think everybody will be ready to go, starting to build our first scene by the time that I am finished doing that. So the one part that we haven't really talked about yet is tokens. If we scroll down the play sheet, you can see that there is a pink MT area and also an area for resolve tokens. And these tokens are a really fun and important part of the game. So the MT, the pink, stands for monologue token. And what that's going to be is everyone is going to have one token that they can give to somebody else if they would like them to give a monologue, which gives us a chance to see inside other characters' heads and what they're thinking. When someone is given a monologue token, they can decide how they want to do that monologue. It can be just a summary. You could say, my character is thinking about this and that, and this is what's influencing them. It could be more of a diary entry. You could write your diary and a first person account of exactly what it is that you're thinking. Or you could set a whole scene where you're staring out the window and thinking deep thoughts about things and explaining about what you're thinking. There's no wrong way to do a monologue, so characters are welcome, or players, I should say, are welcome to execute monologues when asked, however they would care to. The other type of tokens that we have are what is called resolve tokens. And resolve tokens are kind of the storytelling currency of the game. It's how you're going to influence other characters to do what you need them to do. So of course, everybody has their own free will as a character. Everyone wants to play their character accurately to the character that they've built. But there might be times where your character needs another character to do something with you in order for your character to accomplish their goals, even if it goes against that other character's needs. So as an example, if we're at the Netherfield Ball and Bingley wants to dance with Jane, that's pretty straightforward. They both want to dance with each other and that's not a problem. But let's say someone's playing Mr. Darcy and he wants to dance with Elizabeth. We actually know it's not really in Elizabeth's characterization or in her character's interest to dance with Darcy. And so there's really not reason for her to accept that. But the Darcy player could offer a resolve token to the Elizabeth player, so to to accept a dance with him. At that point, of course, Elizabeth's player has the choice to do whatever she would like. If that's not the story that Elizabeth wants to be a part of right now, it's perfectly fine not to accept a resolve token. No one's ever being forced to accept a resolve token. If Elizabeth's like, oh, actually, this could be an interesting direction for my character. It's not something she would do, but I like where this is going. She could accept the resolve token, and then she would have an additional resolve token to spend later to do something that she wants to do. Also, there can be some negotiation. Elizabeth can say, I'll dance with Mr. Darcy, but then I get to quiz him about his relationship with Wickham. And then Darcy can come back and say, well, that's fine. Like, she can ask about the relationship with Wickham, but it's not like Darcy's just going to spill his guts about it. And so there can be some negotiation going on. So this is just a chance for to make sure that everybody's able to play their character truly, and everybody has an incentive to help other people tell their stories as well. Sometimes if things get really collaborative, you don't have to bring resolve tokens into it too much, but they can be fun, and particularly as a facilitator, and facilitators also get resolve tokens, it can be a good way of sort of like throwing some unexpected conflict into the story, or throwing out a good idea you have for somebody that you want them to be interested in. They can be really helpful for that. So a monologue token, you get one and you spend it, and it will be replaced at a later phase of the game. Resolve tokens you can actually accumulate. If someone offers you a resolve token, then you have an additional resolve token to use later at the game, though those also do get replenished later in the game if you spend all of yours. Major characters start out with 2 resolve tokens. Minor characters, connections, I should say, also start out with 2 tokens. Connections, again, are there also to motivate characters to do things. Connections have wills and desires of their own also. So these players can also spend their connections tokens to make other things happen in the game. And there's a couple other situations in which things can be used as though they are resolve tokens. Rumors and scandal that have been spread, and I'll talk more about rumors and scandal when we get to that phase, can be used as a resolve token. Someone could use this information we have about Delacroix as a way of moving the story along as though it were a resolve token. And reputation tags can be used as resolve tokens also. So for example, a positive reputation tag you could use for your character as a way of getting something that you need. If Eleanor Dashwood has taken a positive reputation tag for being a good friend because she listened to Lucy Steele, say all the stuff that Eleanor didn't want to listen to, she might spend that resolve token to get Mrs. Jennings to take her to London. On the other hand, negative resolve tokens, other players could use to influence you based on your negative reputation. So for example, if Kitty Bennett gets a negative reputation tag of wild because of her behavior at the Netherfield Ball, another character might use it to say, I don't think that Kitty should go to Brighton with Lydia. I think that she's too wild. Does that sort of explain for all of you how we would use resolve tokens? And we'll get to some examples when we get into our novel scene. Yeah, you were with me? Okay. Then I think we've covered everything, I hope. If not, we'll come back to it, to be ready to start our play. So the first thing is we're going to do, as I said, is we are just going to set the opening of our story. Ideally, for the first opening novel scene that you do, we want to showcase as many of the major characters as possible. So often it's a good time to do a bigger scene, a scene that's a ball or a dinner party or a picnic or something where we can bring a lot of the major characters and maybe even some of the minor characters into play. Does anybody of the players, because I probably won't see the chat comments in time, have ideas for how we could start our novel out? We've had a request, like we want to make sure we have a ball during this game at some point. Do we want to start with a ball, or do we want to maybe end with a ball and start somewhere else? What are people feeling?
I think we should start with a ball because that's a great place where rumors get started.
Everybody agrees, a ball? Okay.
And everybody
So
can be there.
and everybody can be there. That's a great point. So who's hosting this ball? I mean, Lavinia. I think Lavinia seems like is willing to host this ball.
Yeah. I love
I got
it.
no money. Don't look at me.
I have a bonnet. I should have got a bonnet to be
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take my shrug off when I'm Stephanie or when I'm Maya.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go run and get my bonnet. I will be right back.
Oh gosh.
Be right.
Oh no,
Okay.
I don't have a prop. When I'm holding my wine, I'm Dennis. Okay, well, when I'm holding my wine, I'm just like Tessa. It's just me. I don't know. I'll think about it.
But
we didn't prepare for this.
I will hold a ball with one of our naval heroes.
Mustache.
Last great success. You know.
Oh, I know. I'll pull the Clark Kent Superman.
I like it. I like
I'm
it.
two completely different people.
It's kind of cold. I might do my glasses too.
Okay. Amazing.
I'll just
Stephanie
forget.
glasses.
Sorry.
So Lavinia's gonna throw the ball. Obviously, all of our major characters are gonna be invited. Do we think our minor character is gonna be there as well?
Not Stephanie.
That's definitely,
No. I mean, Lavinia's gonna be there, obviously. I mean, Jasper should maybe be there, do we think?
Jasper and Des can both be there to embarrass themselves. One way or another.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
Dennis
fair
can
enough.
be there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Is Dennis in town? Or isn't Dennis like off somewhere else?
Oh,
doing
he
his own
is.
thing? I don't know.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Do we need the complication of Dennis in this first scene?
Nah.
We can decide. So in playing novel scenes, or the novel phase, I should say, we can both do big group scenes, but it's also fine to break off and do smaller scenes, right? It might be that Maya is going to.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh,
That is a great
that's
one.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
That's
That's
big.
amazing. I love it. I love it.
That's big sister B.
Sorry, here I am, Beatrice. Beatrice with the bonnet.
So obviously it's fine to just like kind of jump into a scene and see what's going on. I sometimes find it helpful to discuss like what we need to get out of this scene. So like, what do we think needs to happen before we start playing it out? Like what does each character need to get from this introductory scene? Like what do we need to establish, or what needs to happen?
So, as Lavinia, I'm joining this ball to welcome home I really want to really start getting my Marmaduke to fall in love with Maya. And she looks great at a ball. I've noticed that before. Not to bring a picnic, but balls are her thing. So basically, I'm going to make sure that she descends the staircase. This is all about showing how great Maya looks and make Marmaduke fall in love with her. And because that's how boys work in my great old lady experience. So there's going to be a lot of things that sort of pointed toward Maya. Like she's going to get her own musical cue and everything.
Ta-da-da-dum.
And I heard that Duke's bringing his little friend. That's cool. I don't care. What I'm doing is getting Margaret married to the person that I want. And maybe her sister can stay in the kitchen. You can't do that, Lavinia. No, that's wrong. We'll just send her and her empty dance card near the plants. You know.
Awesome. So I think this is probably the first time that Maya and Theo have seen each other for years. So we maybe need them to like dramatically run into each other. What do we think about that?
That's great. And I think the sisters have had a talk before this, and B has laid out for Maya exactly why she needs to, focus on Duke. And so Maya is determined not to have feelings for Theo.
Yeah.
Someone
Eye on the prize, Maya.
asked for a carriage ride. Maybe we
What
can
did you
start
say?
this whole thing with a carriage ride where it's just Maya and B, and they're talking and doing the whole, like, they're planning for the event. And then she gets out, and almost immediately when I turn around, she sees Theo in the, like, receiving line, and like, oh.
What was that B was saying again? I don't remember a word.
Yeah, we can start that way. Okay, so Duke is just going to be thrown together with Maya quite a bit probably when we do this. Do we think, is it too early for something to happen that makes Duke look at Beatrice differently?
It's never too early. It's never too early.
Okay, so we can
set up the annoyance. We can set up the enemies.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we'll move to lovers later.
Well, he's already going to look at me strangely because I'm wearing a bonnet to a ball, but whatever. Not really.
All right.
Really,
No
So
fun whatsoever.
So we're going to start with the sisters arriving in a carriage, have a dramatic meeting with Theo, and then move inside to try and start throwing Maya at Duke. That's the scene we're going to play out, and then see where that dance takes us.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Okay. Do you guys feel ready to start? Darcy and Sonali, are you guys ready to start your carriage ride in?
I'm ready.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. So you're clear on your goals for this evening. Yes, Maya.
No, do you want to tell me for the 100th time? Because 99 wasn't enough. That's my inner monologue. But no, yes, B, I get it. That's my very
It sounds like I need to review why Captain Maine is so important for you. This is an excellent match. I probably don't need to remind you that you were pretty much involved in a scandal several years ago because of a very poor choice that you made. So we're not going to make another poor choice. We're going to make an excellent choice that is not going to be scandalous or in any way damage our family.
Outer dialogue, inner dialogue. Well, at least I make some choices. What have you done? And if you like him if you like him so much, why don't you marry him? Maybe fine, outer dialogue too. If you like him so much, B.
Oh, now you're just being annoying. But thank you for understanding. I am confident that you will have an excellent evening. And look, here we are.
Inner dialogue again. I'm going to have an excellent evening because Theo's not going to be there.
And my inner dialogue is, why is she being a pain in my ass?
All the time.
Just marry this guy.
Oh, will everyone just leave me alone about marriage?
Okay, so their carriage arrives, the door is open, Maya steps out, and what is the first thing that she sees? It's Theo. So Theo turns around, their eyes meet, what happens?
Everything we just said flies right out of my head.
Am I still standing there? Can I like grab her and drag her away? Or
You're still there.
Yes, please.
Maya.
oh, look, let's go talk to, is it Lady Lavinia?
Sure.
Yeah, let's make her a lady.
Sure.
Or is she Mrs. Maine? I don't know. Let's go talk to Lavinia Maine with the scarf.
Who are you?
And I don't even like her, so let's go.
Yeah, I don't think Lady Lavinia wants to talk to you then.
That's how desperate I am to get you away from Theo, that reprobate. No.
You don't even have to do that because the moment he saw me, he's turned away and walked away, like always.
And so the two of you enter the ballroom. So Lavinia, tell us about this ball. Like, what's the theme? What are the decorations?
It's the last time I saw Paris, which was before everything. So it's Rococo. It's very fountains and blue and white, and that's not blue and white's gold. And there's swans somehow, but they're good swans. They don't bite. I've had them trained.
We really need a swan biting someone at some point.
Can I borrow your swan trainer to come train my new dog?
And everything is very elegant and really way too expensive. This is not a big town. Ever since she came over from France, she's been doing too much. But the food's good, so. Oh yes, so I saw some macarons there. There's a rainbow macaron tower. My chef Jean-Claude has been in the kitchen for literally a month making this happen.
So correction, Maya's not there for Theo, she's there for the macarons. Oops, that's me, not Maya.
That's me too. I'm completely there for the macarons.
Amazing. And so is Duke is already present at the ball?
Yes, Duke is stationed near me. And, I say, dear nephew, look to the stairs. And I hit it, boys. And,
And
the 18th equivalent of Dear God Marry You comes on as she descends the steps.
Yes, and Theo's watching her, and he thinks if coming downstairs were a sport, who would be the world champion? Maya would be the world champion.
What color are you wearing,
My
Maya?
Regency dialogue is like spot on.
What color are you wearing, Maya?
Green.
How about B?
I am wearing pink.
Oh, not gray.
Well, no.
Pink's fine.
I think
Pink's
pink is, I want to be demure, and I don't know. I could wear pink and gray. How about that?
It's pink.
Not hot pink. So you mean
No,
pale
like
pink.
the pale blush pink, like,
Got it.
that lets me sort of blend into myself in the background.
So then Duke is thinking, there's no other woman here who can make pink look boring.
No, Duke, first of all, his attention is also on the macarons because he grew up poor and he knows what it is to be hungry. And then for the past several years in the Navy, all he's been eating is like hard sea biscuit and salted pork comes from a barrel and is disgusting. And finally, he's here at home. He's got the good life. Look at this house. Look at this buffet of food. It's going to all be his, except he's really disturbed by the swans who are like currently dancing a gavotte because this was super expensive and where is his inheritance going? Really? By the time he inherits, it's all going to have been squandered on trained swans. But anyway, so when his aunt tells him, your future wife is going to come down the stairs, he is so ready for this to happen because really whatever comes down the stairs, he's ready to marry it because it means living the swanky Regency lifestyle. So he turns to the stairs. Maya and Beatrice Bradford, what are you, Bradness?
Bradford.
Bradding thing. Okay. Mrs. Maya and Beatrice Bradford. And he looks up and his aunt says, oh, is she not a vision? And he says, yes, I've never seen such a vision in pink. And she says,
green. Who wears pink to a ball? I can't stand Beatrice.
Oh, the other one? She's the other one?
The good one.
Oh.
My God.
I didn't see her at first. I
I guess you didn't see too long.
I'm red green colorblind. It just looks like she's wearing brown. Okay, but wait, then how am I seeing the pink? It's just like a pale, shimmery white thing to me. Yeah. So
she's wearing a bonnet to a ball.
She's wearing a bonnet to a ball. I know, it's intriguing. I want to get underneath it. I arch a brow sardonically or something like that, because what else do heroes do? Anyway, I try to redirect my attention. Yes, beautiful girl in green. This is who I'm zoning in on. Not going to pay any attention to Miss Pink Bonnet. It's all about the girl in green.
Because
all about the girl in green.
That's where the macarons lie. That way lie the macarons.
That's right. And no swans, but other
Swan
nice
money.
things. More macarons.
So I would offer a resolve token, Sonali, if something could like Maya stumble on the stairs. Like I want her in some moment of distress that maybe would allow either Theo or Duke or both to come to her rescue. What do we think?
So she's going to go straight for the swans because she loves swans, and Ugly Duckling was her favorite fairy tale. And so she goes straight for the swans, and the swan, what do swans do? Being the meanest, animal species on the planet, they attack, and she gets pecked in the eye and falls into the water.
That's quite dangerous.
It's not a bad peck, but she gets pecked in the eye and falls in the water, and she cannot swim. Although there's only
Here comes our wet shirt contest.
Oh my gosh.
The practical naval hero, take off my jacket, hang out a statue. Wait, sorry.
While you're taking your jacket off, Theo's already in there acting purely on instinct.
I wrapped her eye with my cravat. And I said, "You're gonna want to see someone about that. Swan bites get infected."
I mean, I was on my way. But
the macarons distracted you.
I hesitated because I saw her peck her in the eye, and I'm thinking I've just spent the past 8 years around people with eye patches, and if this is gonna be
this is my life now.
I'm triggered by the very thought. Sends me back to naval battles and salt pork. Okay. But so Theo has gotten there first.
But I'm now encouraging you to go. Aren't you good with water? You were in the Navy. You need to save her.
Okay. Miss Bonnet.
Please, will you save my sister?
I escort her. So, Duke Bro, I need change. Can you, whatever, this one, I'm gonna go.
And you're going to take off your coat and give it to me because I'm kind of shivering in the cold water.
Have my coat. I'll get something else.
Mm.
And also practically, naked.
Right.
And you wrap the coat around my shoulders and then do the arm flex when you pull away. We move really fast at this party. Not time for the hand flex yet.
No.
Okay.
Oh wait, who is flexing?
So I'm on the scene now. It's you and Maya and Beatrice. I'm gonna close my video so I can be away.
You've left her with your coat, or I'm taking off my coat?
I left her with my coat.
Okay. All right.
Did either of you get wet?
We're all wet. Are we not wet?
You are. Maya is, but did the guys get in the pool?
I scooped her out.
So you didn't actually get wet.
No, well, the front of my shirt got soaked, so I got pectorals.
Okay, so you have the wet shirt.
But
what about Duke? Does Duke have wet pecs or?
No, the Duke didn't get there.
All right. So Duke goes with the wet shirt. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
then B takes off. B takes Theo's shirt away from her, gives it back to him, and makes Duke give her his jacket, whatever, top coat. What is it?
Coat.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Mhm.
It's so tight because I've had my tailors, make it the latest fashion. So, well, okay, but bonnet girl, can you like hold the sleeve so I can get out of it because it's too tight?
Fine.
All right. Okay, now the other one. Secretly, like, ooh, I haven't been undressed by a woman in a long time. Actually, maybe I say that out loud. I bet it's your first time undressing a man.
I am not going to dignify that with a response while I'm thinking, this coat smells kind of nice.
Smells like sandalwood and sea salt.
That you didn't know existed.
Not fishy at all. All right.
Yeah.
Has been talking with more important and richer people. What has transpired? Why aren't the footmen here? Why are there wet guests? The people I pay fix this upstairs with you all.
And so
Extra
B
chaperones,
takes,
just in case. Thank you.
So who's going upstairs?
All of you and like enough chaperones to make this respectable.
Oh.
But I need you out of my dance floor. You are weighing things down. You are scaring the swans. And you are a little too undressed for my grand ball. You're wilting the rococo. It's a lot of gold leaf. It's getting rubbed off. Up the steps. Go change.
so
Okay.
all of us are up now.
We went upstairs, all of us. With a
All
chaperone?
of you. Me,
Do we need a
Myra
chaperone?
helping me get into one of my daughter's old dresses that will do nicely for her for this ball.
Hmm.
It'll be a little tight.
Or we could suggest that B give Maya her dress because it's not like B's going to do any dancing anyway.
She can have the old one.
She can have the old one.
Yes, that would be fine. Is Stephanie our chaperone to take us upstairs because she's a married person?
That would be a good idea.
Sure.
And maybe Stephanie has some old gowns that are still there that, they'll be out of fashion.
Yeah, she came down to greet her brother and it has packed for like 2 weeks. She's only gonna be there a week.
And given that Maya's figure is so tiny and well endowed, her stuff is not going to fit the beautiful Maya, but it will fit, B. You
now
are a
wait.
very beautiful woman, Darcy.
Great. Well,
I'm
you're
having so much
wearing
fun.
my pink dress. It's not going to fit you. It's pink and it's going to hang on you.
It's going to be tight on the important parts.
Yeah. Which, I think that's fine because Captain Maine will like that.
Wait, okay. So I'm supposed to be attracted to Maya's important parts after she has changed her gown.
That's what
My dog is chasing the swans. Sorry.
You're gonna be like, okay, at least she has the important parts. That can't be that bad, can it?
I think it's fine to accentuate your important parts. That can only help our cause, which is for him to notice you.
Eyes on the prize, baby.
But to me, the woman's important parts are her mind and her quick wit and her strength of will. I mean, also boobs, but those are a nice plus.
They are on top of the list.
But like every, they're all out there. They're, a shilling a dozen. So probably literally at this point. So
we are at a ball. Should somebody dance, do we think?
Well, so we're dressed now differently. So I'm wearing one of Stephanie's old gowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And Maya is wearing my pink dress now. And so we go downstairs, and Duke didn't come upstairs with us, right?
No, Duke came upstairs and he's escorting you down along with
I think Duke should have just been downstairs because he sees the pink dress, immediately thinks, I'm gonna go dance with pink dress. Oh, but
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, I like
that.
this.
I
I
like
like
that.
this.
and then he's
I like
proud to
this.
dance with her. So
I've been stuffing my face with macarons. So
meanwhile, my sister has helped me find our suitcase, and I've changed it to something gentlemanly and cutting down sets. And I'm like, I can't believe she's here. And she's like, she's the belle of this town. What did you think was gonna happen?
Which she are you referring to? Does Stephanie know?
Yeah.
So Stephanie, so glasses. Stephanie knows that you're in with Maya?
Well, I mean, she knows about the old engagement,
Okay.
and so she doesn't know that I still have feelings. But she's like,
Why
your
do you
ex is here. We lived in a small town. Your ex is gonna be at all your parties. I don't know why you want to come back here. Like her whole thing is like, why are you trying to come back here? Like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove?
Oh, okay.
and like toppling a girl into the fountain didn't probably help your family's reputation.
I was helping her up. That has to be clear. She was in the fountain, and then I helped her up. That's my
We'll see what rumors spread tomorrow.
You need to keep your proverbial pants on, brother.
This is not going how I hoped.
So the girl in pink comes down the stairs again. And I rush to ask for her to dance. Is this what happens?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we bond over macarons, our mutual love for macarons.
Yes, but
Okay.
I once I realized that I've been bamboozled
I knew.
with by dresses and curse my color blindness. I I find myself having to work to pay attention to Maya. And I don't understand why. I mean, she's pretty and she's elegant, and it seems like she would be the wife that any man in this room would want. I can tell that I am the envy of everyone in the room, but my eyes keep straying to the woman who is now wearing another nondescript color.
Bright yellow. Oh no, yellow, pale yellow.
Yellow,
Eyes are-
yellow. Finally, a color I can see. and I'm drawn to her like my eyes would be drawn to the sunshine. Here in England, I've been missing the blue skies of the great, seven seas and tropical places that I've helped colonize or something awful. And
Horrible person.
now
I mean, you are a naval
she's
officer.
like this bright ray of sunshine in dreary London, and I can't take my eyes off of her.
So does this
And
mean
yeah, Maya, what were you saying, Miss Maya? Sorry, I missed
stepping
it.
on Maya's feet?
You stepped on my feet.
Possibly.
Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, we can offer a resolve token for her to step on Maya's feet.
It's all right. I don't even need a token. Stop. I'm good.
So I could get around, he's not-
Poor thing, you've been pecked in the eye, and now you're
You're wearing an ill-fitting gown that probably doesn't allow you to breathe very well.
Yes. While she's thinking about her mother's people who were colonized by these assholes that now she must marry. Oh. So that's her real goal, is to get one of them to take her back to India because she wants to learn secrets about her mother from her grandmother.
Mhm.
You did say the word colonization, and now my
I
brain
know,
is
it's my fault. Well, you know what? We gotta go there.
Yeah, you can't not.
I
Um,
know that I have already looked like a brute who tossed Maya into the fountain, but I cannot help but see her distress. I see my man, the Duke, who could never dance, but is doing very poorly now, stopping all over her feet. I offer her a lemonade and say that swan bites require extra rest. I advise that she take a chair. And I go quickly away to the other side of the room and hide behind the plant.
And yet, when you see her limp to the chair, your heart just bleeds because the poor soul has stomped upon toes.
Beautiful.
Because every bit of pain that she bears feels like your pain.
oh, you're so
I'm
good,
gonna rush
Sonali. You're
over-
so good.
I'm going to rush over and ask Captain Maine, what time does he plan to call tomorrow?
Oh,
Surprise.
yes,
Love you.
of course. What time do you expect to be home to
will have-
callers?
I understand you like macarons. We will have macarons.
Oh, well, then I'm there. 11 a.m.
Perfect.
Great. So is there anything else that needs to happen at this ball, or are we ready to wrap this up and move on to other scenes?
Can we injure Maya in yet another way?
She could at least break a nail, right?
Theo is sad, and he just wants to go to his room and write in his journal.
Aw, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe
Maya
that
could
road
break her
table
nail
is
while
the
taking
best
the shoe off. While taking her boot off, she breaks her nail because her toes are hurting.
Maybe the macarons gave her indigestion.
Oh no.
Allergic to almonds.
She's
Ah!
a mild almond allergy.
Can this whole book just be about Maya's side?
Maya's side. Oh my gosh. Matrimony and Maya's side sounds like a perfect Austen novel. Okay,
So we feel complete.
Yes.
I feel
Scene.
so far from complete, but yes.
Amazing. You guys did such a good job. Wonderful. Okay, so from here, we are going to move into our next phase, which is the reputation phase. So what we're going to want to do here is decide whether our characters' reputations have improved or suffered based on what we have just played out. So actually, if you look at the family background sheets, it will show you the qualifications for whether you take a positive tag or a negative tag. Broadly, I will say you tend to take a positive tag if you have upheld the values of society instead of your own needs. And you tend to take a negative reputation tag if you have done something that has benefited you, but gone against the conventions of society. Like I said, there's slight differences between different backgrounds, so you can refer to your sheet. But in the broad sense, the question is, like, have you done something in favor of society or your family, which would make your reputation positive, or have you done something to further your own interests at the expense of family and society, in which case you would take a negative tag. So gosh, you guys, we have a lot going on here to decide who might be taking tags.
The tag. I'm going to argue that I take a positive tag because I got myself wet and sort of embarrassed myself, but it was all in the name of nobly helping Maya. And so people might think that I'm not so bad after all.
Okay, great. So a tag, same as we did before, we want to figure out like what to call this tag. Like maybe people would think because you jumped in to save Maya that you are honorable or that you're quick thinking. What do we want to name this tag?
Heroic.
Heroic, that's a good one.
I'll take it. I won't walk away from heroic.
All right.
Now, is this all like external, right? Because are there
Yes.
also okay.
Yes, this will be external. You don't have to take a tag every turn. It really is about what you did during the scene. So what do we think about everybody else's behavior? I mean, I don't know, like Maya.
So one of the things Maya needs, doesn't like is that everybody sees her as this biddable, pliable, person that everyone wants to turn into a puppet, and she just came off as a ditzy, in need of rescue person, and so weak. I mean, I don't know that's like. What would
I think something like that. Or
and if she's weak, then Theo's never going to want to come back to her because he admires strength in women.
Also, externally, she received Theo's attentions too readily for someone who was brought especially for the Duke.
Right. So I think that Maya's behavior, I think we could agree, maybe it didn't exactly further her own interests, but maybe wasn't exactly the sort of proper behavior one would expect when she's like running into the garden after swans and so on and so forth. Do you like weak, Sonali?
For lack of a better tag.
Okay, I think that's a good one. Okay, and anybody else? Do we think that Duke or Beatrice need a tag?
I think B gets a -1 for, everyone has to see her like trying to lock the Duke down, and only Lavinia can lock the Duke down. When B does it, it's trifling.
What do you think, Darcy?
Is that something that everybody is seeing though? Or just Maya? Or is it obvious to everybody that I'm trying to like hook them up?
Well, where'd you propose asking him to call?
That's true.
That is true. Oh yes. So I was being.
So that was overheard. That was awfully forward.
That is awfully forward. You're right.
So we think we should take a negative. Why is it take a negative tag of forward?
Yes.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Brazen.
Oh, brazen. I love it.
Headstrong.
Love it.
A harridan.
Okay. I have updated that.
And Lavinia isn't gonna care if it was. She's somehow gonna make this about her. Blame the whole like falling thing on her. So like, if B had not come, just like the bonnet. Lavinia's not over the bonnet and she's not over the pink. She's like, I throw a ball. I expect people to come with some class. Not only does she turn in pink, she turns into a bonnet. This is not a hayride.
You don't know why I'm wearing a bonnet. Maybe I'm hiding a bald spot.
With braids.
I have a suspicion of what you're hiding under your bonnet, but don't let me find out yet. Okay. I would argue that Duke should get a positive strictly because even though he was kind of a jerk in this scene to everybody, strictly because now it will be known that he is the heir to Lavinia and he's a really good catch.
Okay.
He's in her good graces.
So the guys got positive reputation bumps and the girls got negative reputation bumps.
Hey, that's a Regency, honey.
Patriarchy.
Just like a graphic. It's patriarchy.
We voted for the patriarchy.
That's right. And we voted for historical accuracy, at least, that it was important.
So Tessa, could I call that something like well-connected?
Sounds awesome.
Okay, great. So we have our tags. We are up to, some people are up to 2 positive and some people are up to negative. So I've explained that like tags can be used, as I said, like resolve tokens. Tessa could now use well-connected as a reason to turn something in her favor later in the story. But we could also, someone else could also use Darcy's brazenness to do something to turn the story somewhat against her favor later on. Also, once you reach a level of 3 either positive or negative reputation tags, which people are getting close to, you would take either like a positive outcome or kind of a negative outcome from that. If people look back at the character sheets, which I'm going to share Darcy's, for example, like if her negative, if her reputation were to go down a 3rd, she might take a negative penalty that would suggest that her family members will reject her advice, support, and affection. Or she might take one, you get your choice if you have to take one, in which a family member follows your poor example and throws their reputation to the wind. So we can have some fun with that, and we will see how all of that goes and hopefully get a chance to demonstrate that soon. But the next very exciting part of our part of our cycle is the rumor and scandal phase. So I'm going to switch over to the rumor and scandal. We can see we already have a couple spread rumors, as we have seen. So what's going to happen during the rumor and scandal phase is that the players are going to have an opportunity to spread rumors about what is going on. These are rumors that are not necessarily coming from their characters. We don't know where these rumors are coming from, just the rumor mill. The information is just out there. You can, when someone starts a rumor, I'm going to add it to this list on our rumor sheet, but players also have the option to spread a rumor. A spread rumor is a rumor that people are basically going to take as the truth. That doesn't mean it is the truth. It just means that characters are going to react to it as though it's the truth. So for example, when Lady Catherine in Pride and Prejudice comes to visit Elizabeth Bennet because she has heard a rumor that Darcy is going to propose to her, it's not that that is true, it's that Lady Catherine believes that it is true, right? Even though it's just a rumor with the origins of which we do not know. So everyone is going to get 2 turns in this phase, including the facilitator. And during their turns, they can use those 2 turns to either start a rumor or to spread a rumor that is already on this. So we can do it based on just who already has some creative ideas, or you could do it in sort of a situation in which, say, for example, Darcy, whose character is the first one left on the sheet, would go first. We would work our way through the characters to Eden. Then Eden would take her second turn, and we would work our way through second turns back to Darcy. So do we want to, does someone like have some burning rumors that they want to start? Or do you guys want to do it in turn order?
Well, I want to start the rumor that Theo and Maya were in an incredibly improper situation because, you know, he practically pushed her into a fountain. They were both drenched, basically naked, and then disappeared upstairs together. So,
okay.
I stayed up there for a very long time.
And so are you saying that Theo is at fault for this, or that they're both at fault for this?
I'm not saying anything. I'm
Okay.
just observing.
Okay.
You can try your own
like,
conclusions.
They got
I
dressed.
saw them
He
both
went upstairs.
I
He
saw
went
them
upstairs.
both sides.
She came downstairs in a different dress. He came downstairs in different clothes.
And he's heroic.
Mm-hmm.
Heroic for that.
And we all know that there was something that went on with them several years ago. So is it really over?
Okay, I like it. I like it. So does anybody else have a rumor that they want to start?
Maybe that Duke is a bad dancer.
Good one.
Fair enough. Okay.
Oh, and he broke my stove.
It broke my stove. I like it. Poor Maya. Okay.
Beatrice has the bald spot.
Okay. Amazing. The facilitator also takes 2 turns. I'm going to join in and start a rumor that Lavinia is going to leave her fortune to the Society for the Advancement of French Culture.
Poor Duke.
So you guys can also choose to spread some of these rumors and make them a bigger part of the game. Or we can continue to start some rumors. I believe there are several turns at play still.
Are we discussing rumors? Is that a thing we can do? Like,
Sure.
like Duke could come to Theophilus Pack is like, I've heard my aunt talking about changing her will just because I broke that girl's toe.
I mean, if you want, if that's like what you want to do, then we could spread that rumor that his aunt is going to give the money somewhere else, so that there will be a reason to have that conversation later.
Darcy.
I have to start another rumor. I just remembered from before.
Yeah.
But
I have to start the rumor that there is that the courtship of Duke and Maya is imminent.
Okay. So like the Duke is on the verge of proposing to Maya.
Yes, or at least officially courting.
And
he has to call on her with like no prompting whatsoever.
That's one.
I don't care what it takes.
But also B has now, because of the rumor about the inheritance, she has something new to hold over Duke's head, which is that Maya is an heiress. So he, that's more of an inducement for him to marry Maya.
So we're spreading that rumor, we've decided. We're going to say that one seems pretty active. Okay. Any other rumors we want to spread, or any other rumors we want to start? I feel like I'll spread the rumor that Duke is getting pretty serious about Maya. I think that's a good one I think that plays well into our game. Okay, well, I think we have a really great set of rumors. So then the next part of our game is going to be the epistolary phase. So again, in the epistolary phase, characters are now going to write letters to each other. Every player and the facilitator are allowed to write up to 2 letters. Those letters can be from any character that they control. So it could be from their major character or from their connection, if they are interested. And of course, if there's a reason to do a letter from someone else, say a solicitor or someone outside the family, that is also allowable. Typically, again, we could go in some sort of turn order, or we could do it in just in any order that people feel inspired to do letters. Letters, same as the monologue tokens, can take whatever form that players are comfortable in. You could summarize a letter, or you could narrate exactly what the letter says, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. I'm going to suggest that we right now take another 5-ish minute break That'll give everybody a chance to think about what letters they might want to write. These letters might reflect back on what has already happened. They might be a great way of moving forward and suggesting what our next novel scene is going to be. If someone, say, sent an invitation or something were discussed, the letters might also react to the recent rumors that are being spread. So all of those things can be at play at the letters or other ideas that the players might have. So again, we're going to let everybody take about a 5-minute break. And then we are going to come back and everybody is going to write some letters. Does that sound good?
Mhm.
Great.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Well, thanks everyone. You guys can feel free to mute and turn off your cameras if you want. And I'm going to put something back up on the screen. Thanks to our viewers who are still here with us. And we will see you shortly.
What's that? What's that? What's that?
Sorry, I was being dog mobbed.
Sorry, making tea. Just taking a minute for some reason today.
I'm going between so much tea and coffee. It's going to be
Good
good thing I have a good book to read.
Hey,
Can letters come from the minor characters? Oh, Lindsay, you're muted.
Thank you. Yes, letters can also come from the connection / minor characters, or you can write them for characters that you can control, or you could ask somebody to write a letter to you from a character that you would like to have write to you. So are we ready? Does somebody have a letter that they are ready to write?
Well,
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Does anyone else?
I have a letter I want Stephanie to write.
Do you want to start with that? Or because I have one for Theo.
Okay. So Stephanie should, what she said, probably like, Stephanie's like, look, when are you gonna stop living in our parents' past and be happy? You have the fortune to do whatever you choose. You don't even have to stay in this town. Just choose to be happy, and the rest of your life will be better. Please do that for me, your sister, so that we can all move on with our lives. And then he's going to choose, and then he's like, I could be happy if she would have me, but she will not.
So this is what happens between Theo and Stephanie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That she's saying, don't worry about the family name, don't worry about other stuff, just find something that'll make you happy and go live.
Wow, good sister that. So I have one that is going to add some suspense to this Jane Austen novel. So Maya's going to write one to Theo, thanking him for saving her life and her eye, and telling him that yet again she must choose Duke because there's reasons she cannot reveal for which she needs him. And then she writes one to a name redacted secret person in India about trying to get information about something that her mother hid. Now, what year is this? This is before 1857, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
this is like still Napoleonic Wars.
Yeah.
okay. 1857 was the Great Mutiny against the British Empire that almost overthrew it, and so she is trying to look for this thing her mother hid that can help the Indians with the mutiny to overthrow the British. I don't know.
Great. A whole new subplot.
I'm going to write a letter to our brother Dennis and ask him to come to Habershire to help bag Captain Maine for our sister.
Awesome. Do you want to tell us the letter, or are you just going to summarize it?
Should I actually like write the letter? Like,
I mean, you have that option. Yeah, you have that
okay.
option.
Oh, yes. Dearest brother, I regret to intrude upon your festivities in London, comma. However, our sister and I are in desperate need of your masculine guidance. Like to appeal to his, his narcissistic nature. Is he a narcissist? I don't know. Anyway,
Probably.
Probably.
He's the oldest brother of a wealthy family at that time. I don't see how you avoid that.
And he's a dandy. That's a sign of, that's a symptom of narcissism.
I believe a courtship between Captain Maine and our sister Meyer is imminent. Maya. Getting my little bit of British accent in there, Meyer. And is imminent, and we could use your influence, your mighty influence. Please come at your earliest convenience, which I hope shall be soon. Yours most sincerely and sisterly, Beatrice.
Wonderful.
Oh, I forgot my hat.
All right. Any letters from Captain Maine?
I'm writing to my aunt's solicitors. I have heard that my aunt has recently made a change to her will, leaving her entire fortune to some deuced society for the improvement of I don't know what. Please tell me that this is false. Yours, etc. Marmaduke, Maine.
So I've received the letter from Maya, right?
Theo has, yeah. So you could respond.
So, I have one response to him and one response to, you guys exit. I'm not sure if I'm resolving things or if I'm creating a path, but if you guys don't like it, feel free to exit. I'm just throwing this out. My dearest friend, the Duke, Marms, I hate it here. I want to go back to the Navy, and I have to confess, my heart is with your intended, Maya. What I can do for you is leave you steward of my household and all my many lands and all the investment things, so that will give you some position to marry who you choose. You're my dearest friend, and I trust you with my home. You'll restore it to its grandeur, even though I am not there. I must go and live my life and find what true happiness awaits me in this world. I don't know how, but that's what I must do. Yours, eternally, Thea. So, that's the letter to Marmaduke, my best friend. And I also slightly even live with him. I got a lot going on.
I was just gonna say, like, it sounded like a love letter to me. I don't know about
This game is taking an interesting turn.
These Bradbury sisters are too much trouble. Bradford. I can't even remember their name.
But I think you just even solved the entire book, right? Because what Maya was doing is she was going for Duke because he was going to stay in the Navy and leave the Navy to restore the family name. So she wanted the man who was going to be in the Navy who could take her back to India so she could find this artifact. And so now that he's going back to the Navy, she's like, okay, then Theo will work.
Well, we don't know for sure. I mean, we don't know if Duke is going to accept just being a steward, or if he's just going to let his friend go back to the Navy. Like, we don't know what the outcome of this is yet, I guess.
Yeah. And then, my dearest Maya, I've never understood you, even though I don't know if that's my fault or your nature. I can't help loving you still, even though I remain confused by the content of your letter. What I know is that there cannot be a Hatford in Hertfordshire. And so I returned to the seas, my true home, where I felt most alive, to my dearest love, the ocean, who I adore even more than you.
Excuse me.
You told me you couldn't marry you for reasons, okay? You're getting dumped back.
Listen, if you love the sea that much, if you love the ocean that much, you have to stop looking at me the way you look at me.
All right.
I wish you the best in your endeavors. I know you will always have a friend in yours, Thea.
All right, I'm going to write to my friend Theo. Dear Theo, I always knew you could be a dramatic sort. This is ridiculous. Do not leave England. I know that you, I know that when you were at sea, you longed to be at land, and now that you are on land, you are longing to be at sea. Seems that you are always doomed to want what you cannot have. And perhaps you need to do some self-reflection. Take time to work on yourself, Theo. And let's begin that introspection by joining me at the club tonight for a lot of brandy and maybe some large-breasted women. Yours, Duke. Marms.
Joe calls him Marms. Marmsy.
Right.
Marmsy.
Amazing. All right. Is that the end of our letters phase?
Yes, it is 6:45, so yeah.
Yes. Amazing. So at this point, we've seen every facet of the game, besides sort of the upkeep phase and some of the things that would be a part of longer games, but that probably won't be a part of our game tonight. At this point, we're just going to continue to do the same types of phases that you've already seen. We're going to do more novels. After any novel scene or set of novel scenes, we're going to double check in on people's reputations. We might squeeze in one more epistolary scene if we have time, but I think we have enough rumors and scandals to go on, as well as other drama at this point to keep us going for the rest of our story. So we are back to the novel phase, in which we're going to do a scene or or several scenes in succession, depending on how things work out. So what are people interested in? Where are we thinking of taking this? I saw some interesting stuff happening in both chats. So we're kind of getting into the middle of our story. If we want to wrap this up in the next hour or so, we want to be sure we really kind of push things forward, so that we can make a lot happen in this, then maybe do a quick reputation and maybe another quick epistolary, and then sort of wrap everything up in a bow before the end. So what are people
So some
interested
swans need to hit the fan.
I think it's that time. Yes. So what are people interested in?
Oh,
I mean,
Darcy.
What a great title for this story, When the Swans Hit the Fan.
So what do we have to resolve at this point? I guess we need to know whether Theo is serious about going back to the Navy. I think we have to see, I guess, Dennis come into town.
I think we need Duke and Beatrice to somehow have some sort of
yeah, for sure.
That maybe makes me think maybe I don't want to push my sister on this guy.
Okay, great. So we definitely need a Duke Beatrice scene. What are we thinking about Maya and Theo at this point?
So I think that I need to go to my sister, like nightly, and Emma, and hang out there to clear a field, to be the honorable man. I'm not going to the Navy yet. We're gonna try a trial of the steward thing. Well, I'm gonna leave you in charge, Marmsla. Because we know Lavinia will not see you in her home, allow B into her home like willingly. So you gotta have some way of lands to wander, ponds to fall into, to be hot in, so that
oh God, we still have to fall in the lake, or did we do that with the fountain? Did that count?
We did it with the fountain, but we said that we could have two. So I think you can put my ponds while you're taking a walking on the ground. And
I would love for Maya to push you in. Like, you love the water so much here. Why don't you marry it? I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Maya is a secret.
How does the monologue thing work? Like, if I want somebody to monologue something, when does that happen?
At any time during the game that you would like it to happen. And I would love if we did that this time so that we could demonstrate it for our viewers.
Okay.
So it could happen even right now. If you right now want to know what somebody's thinking about something, we could monologue right now, or we could do it when we're in the novel phase. If you want to see it then.
Do you want me to,
kinda? Sorry.
Do you want me to monologue going to my sisters? Or like my whole plan and like raising the intro, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Oh, me? I was gonna ask for Lavinia to monologue why she hates B so much.
Oh, that would be good now, I think. If Lavinia can be ready for that now.
Sure, hold on. Let's go this over here.
Do we have to set a scene for this, or does she just?
It's up to her. She can set her own scene, or she can write in her diary, or she can just tell us what she's thinking. Whatever works for the player.
To her maid.
Yes,
I'm gonna do this actor studio style, where off screen, my nephew is like, "But Aunt, what has passed between you and Miss Beatrice?" And I look off darkly. Dear nephew, you want what I want. You want this life. You must understand the role that we play. Simply, we are maintainers of order, and Beatrice is chaos.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Why should I care for someone like her? We are rich. We don't have to care for anyone. That is the point of being rich. I do not like her. I do not like her fashion. I do not like her hats. I think where she comes, bad things follow. I do not want bad things in my house. That's all. There's plenty because it's my will. If you not have this will, maybe you should not be prepared to rule. Even in the Habesha.
bravo.
That was excellent.
I want to give her a negative reputation for being such a snob, though, but she doesn't get reputation if she's not.
Yeah.
No, the bad things about rich people will become their good things. Steve Jobs is a college dropout who's invented because of the college dropout. A college dropout who just gets his associates and does fixes cards, never fulfills potential. You know? Money makes every mistake look good.
Wow, that is so profound. Could write that down.
Get that on a shirt.
Money.
All right. So what scenes? What are we ready to start with? Do we want to start with the Duke and Beatrice scene? How do we want to set that? Where are they? Is he going to come to call, or is there going to be some animals around? What do we think?
So we're at Theo's estate, right?
Yeah, I'm with my sister. Maya is writing letters, or is sick or something. Yeah. And Beatrice is taking a healthy walk onto lands that she thought were public, but turned out to be.
And I have just taken a swim in the lake.
Yes.
Okay. So
Beatrice has to monologue about you coming out of the lake, I feel like.
Okay. Do I need to set up how I got in the lake?
Yeah, please.
Does it really matter?
Set it up.
So I've been surveying the fields that my friend would have me watch over in his absence. And this is a beautiful house. I surely could fill it with macarons with what he's offering, but it would never be mine the way that my aunt's fortune would give me a security of my own and a legacy of my own. I would always be living off the goodwill of my friend. And, I take the time to pet some little baby goats who are, following along behind me. I protect them from swans. And I come across a pond. It's so hot, it's really, I've already taken off my coat and have walked across the fields, and the pond looks so inviting. I decide to, pull off my boots and dive in. Can I take off more clothes, or is it need to be a wet shirt?
Take off your cravat.
Take off the cravat. Take off the vest.
Yeah.
I got to keep on the breeches and the shirt.
Yeah, you got to keep the breeches.
Fine. And I dive into the pond with the grace that only a naval captain could pull off, and swim effortlessly through the reeds or whatever is there. It's so nice to have this solitude.
But also cooling off the heat you feel when you think about Beatrice.
That's true. That's right. There's that thing in that story, right, in the 1995 Pride and Prejudice miniseries that Andrew Davies, in the scene directions for not the pond scene, but the one where Darcy is walking around Netherfield and Elizabeth comes, they meet, unexpectedly. In the directions, or the whatever you call it, in the screenplay, it says that Darcy's been walking off in erection, and that's why he looks so taken aback. So maybe I've been swimming off my erection.
I just had to call him first, being like, acting.
That's right.
Nice.
Isn't that funny? And if you go back and watch that scene, he is kind of standing weird. It's really funny. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry to break character there.
No, but I like
it. This is Jane Con.
This is Jane Con. Okay, so I am out walking and I'm thinking about my next strategic move with regard to my sister and Maine, and my sneaking suspicion that my sister is really pining after this other guy, Theo. And now there's a rumor isn't there a rumor he's going back to the Navy, right? Is that a rumor?
It's not a rumor necessarily. I don't know if you know that. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Unless, I mean, maybe Maya told you. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to think about how I can get all this to work. And then my brain just keeps thinking about Captain Maine and how nice his coat smelled. And, you know, he just seems so pleasant and charming. But, oh, he has that horrid aunt. So, you know, anyway, she'll be fine with Maya because everybody likes Maya. And then I hear splash in the lake, and I am wondering if it's more killer swans. And so I go to check it out at a little bit of a safe distance. I don't see any swans, so I creep closer, and then I see the gleaming hair. Is he blonde? I don't know. Anyway, he comes out of the water like a male Aphrodite, and I am entranced by his wet and muscular from all the
Listening, don't forget listening.
His flat
Or-
coin-like nipples showing through the whiteness.
yes.
I feel like just dashing, liquid on myself, but
And he smooths his hair back and he climbs out, and I'm standing there agape because this is entirely inappropriate and I should run away, but I cannot. My feet are rooted to the spot and I must look my fill.
Will there be
Oh,
Oh, this is Jane Austen, so we can't kiss, right? Can you kiss?
and so I see you and it's like, oh, look, there's the perpetual bee in her bonnet. I've been saving that.
You've been saying that. You're awesome. Yes.
And then
You're gonna ask me if I ever take my bonnet
Darcy
off
and B until that
Do
moment.
you ever take that bonnet off?
when I
Do you ever take that bonnet off?
when I
Would
retire.
you, huh?
When I retire for the evening.
Well, I have a very strong desire to see you with your bonnet off. And unless you want me to come visit you when you're ready to retire for the evening, I think I come closer. I catch the end of the ribbon, tying your bonnet together. That's right. It's smooth and silky, as I imagine your skin would be, but even more so. And I give you every opportunity to say no before.
I am very overheated all of a sudden, and I would like to take my bonnet off because maybe I would be cooler. But somehow I think that just removing my bonnet will not alleviate the flame inside me.
But it's a start. So, and I definitely can't be, oh, look. And the moment she takes her bonnet off, this glory of beautiful auburn hair spills forth, just curls and locks of this luscious, sensual, such beautiful mane of hair just tumbles about your shoulders, and she shakes her head just a little bit, and it catches the sunlight and gleams, and it's like a halo, and it's like fire, and it's just like everything. And I see that this is why you're hiding yourself under this bonnet, because if you didn't, you would outshine your sister, because who is Maya next to this
Goddess.
amazingly glorious person, and why are you hiding all your best features under this bonnet? Not only your beautiful hair, but your sharp mind and clever wit. And I really, really want to kiss you.
Nobody's ever asked me to remove my bonnet before. No one has seen beneath my bonnet before.
Definitely no balls by here. The rumors were wrong. So wrong.
You are a man among boys.
Thank you for noticing.
But what of my sister? You're supposed to marry my sister.
Well, it seems as though my aunt is going to fritter away all her fortune on silly Frenchness. What is the society to protect the French culture anyway? England is always just a mirror of French culture. Whatever they do, we do over here. We just pronounce it differently because we're English, fillets, other things. I can't remember right now. Yeah. So French culture is not going anywhere, and yet she wants to spend her money on this, and I'm going to be cut out of her will. I will have no money. I am not worthy of Maya's hand nor yours. But while I have this moment, I cannot resist making the most of it. Tell me what that is.
It has to be kept secret.
Of course.
My reputation is impeccable. I have never allowed a man to so much as kiss my wrist.
I think it might do your reputation some favors, actually. If we got at least to the wrist. I mean, really.
I cannot impugn my sister, however, so we can go over here behind the tree.
Okay. I'm down for that.
And then don't you think somebody should walk by and see them?
They have to?
I
I guess.
had someone to see.
I'm never going to get rid of this erection.
Or some swans could wander in.
No.
We've forgotten about Jasper. Can Jasper see them? Or will that?
Sure.
I think we should be kissing and then somebody sees
That's
us.
what yes, we go behind the tree and yes, smoochy.
Wait.
And I take off your glove, it's so sexy, and I kiss your wrist.
Wait, we have some ungloved hand touching here.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we take off our gloves.
Well, you're not wearing gloves.
Well, that's true.
Taking
Who
off-
swims in gloves?
I want to take off my glove because I can't touch your wet person and get my glove wet. So I'm going to take my glove off and touch your moistness. There we go. Oh,
I firm every muscle to seem impressive.
you feel so different from me.
Every last inch of me's covered with hair.
That is
right.
A lot of hair. We can talk about manscaping some other time, but this is fine. Show me what to do. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. People who don't know us are going to be like, what kind of books do Darcy and Tessa write? And I'm going to here to tell you that kind of book. We'll keep it. You're so innocent and there are many, many pleasures. The more you wait, the more the anticipation grows, the greater the pleasure. And so I start by kissing your hand and your wrist and up your arm to your elbow and ever so slowly making my way up to your neck and then finally on the lips. Suddenly,
Jasper!
Oh, I'm Jasper. Oh, okay.
Jasper? Who
Interrupt
even is
myself.
Jasper?
I'll take off
Maybe-
my hat. I already took off my hat.
Maybe
Right.
maybe Stephanie should show up, so it's a new character, or Lavinia.
Oh no.
No, not Lavinia. How about Lavinia's footman?
Sure.
I can show up. I don't care. Or Jasper.
Okay,
Whatever.
okay, go for it, Jasper.
Jasper could keep a secret, unlike other people.
Isn't Lavinia showing up like the highest conflict thing?
That's
Well,
true.
Dennis could show up, which is her older sister, but then that's me playing Dennis. So if somebody else wants to play Dennis,
I feel like the aunt showing up messes everything up, right? Because she hates B, and,
Mhm.
and she sees them together, and someone's
And
gonna
she
have to stand up for someone and some stuff, and she can then want to keep it secret because it goes against her. Creating that scandal would go against what she wants.
Well, she could
How
also use it as blackmail for her nephew. I won't give you your inheritance if you marry her.
But she doesn't want him to marry her, right?
Right. She doesn't want him to. So she's like, you stay away from Beatrice, or I will give that money to the French culture, whatever.
Or she's seen them together, so she could either ruin Beatrice's reputation if he doesn't, and she'll shut up if he marries Maya.
But we want a happy ending though? Like, I don't see any way out of this if we go that
You
route.
can try to say, I'll just be a steward, and I'd rather be a steward and with Beatrice than, have your inheritance and be with Maya.
I mean, he's got to choose money or love at some point.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
That's true.
But we have old money anyway, so we're rich. So he doesn't need money. He can live off our money.
Are
Well,
you though?
I thought
Maybe
that
Dennis is going to write you a
Maya
letter.
was rich, but you weren't because you have the older brother.
You're not so, but you're both willing
Yeah,
to
but I've got a dowry.
a small one, but you guys don't mind because love is more important than money.
Okay. How
I know it's going to take some time to get me there though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of macarons to give up.
Well, and he grew up poor, and
Mhm.
he's motivated to be
Promise-
comfortable.
Let's make
I
it
don't
a
want
footman,
any
though.
woman to live like that for me.
Well, Theo can promise to keep you in macarons for the rest of your life so he can have Maya.
But let's make it the footman though, because if Lavinia sees it, they all goes up in one thing. But if her footman sees it, they can she can try and negotiate, because I don't know, like maybe the footman was like, I saw this redheaded woman with your nephew, and she's like, Beatrice.
Or maybe it's a mysterious redheaded woman.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Oh, right.
Bum,
'cause
bum,
they don't have
bum.
on it.
Yeah. And maybe like the aunt's sort of like, I know Maya's not paying any attention, but you can't just cavort around with the town trumps. Whoever lose her chance, you just find on the paths, because Maya's not giving you the respect. Like, behave with dignity, sir. So it's more of a lecture. And then he's like, I want more control of my life. I want more of my choices. So he gets to the same place of like,
Mhm.
I don't want to be
Mhm.
answering her until she dies at 110.
And then the serious problem comes when the red hair is revealed in front of everybody.
Right.
I like that.
For now, you're just a mysterious red-haired woman.
Right.
All right. So
Red-haired slattern.
I'll be the footman. Go, carriage. Whoa. There's a carriage.
Oh,
There's a carriage. But I don't see things. No.
best scene ever.
Sounded like jazz.
I mean, and what were we doing? Just kissing and didn't even notice? Do you think someone saw us? Nah, baby, nobody saw us.
I have to go. I'm wet now, and I need to go before I catch cold.
All right, but this isn't over between us.
And
I won't let it
scene.
be over.
Good scene. Okay.
Great. All right, so now I think we need to really, given the time that we're at, I think we need to really progress things between Maya and Theo. And then, I don't know, do we want to go full scale towards happily ever after right now? Do you want to break and do reputation and then come back and do kind of an epilogue scene in which everything turns out happily? Let's start with getting with Maya and Theo. How are we going to bring them together?
Didn't they, isn't that because Theo's going back to the Navy and if Maya's ultimate aim is to have someone take her to India, then it's all working out anyway?
Well, they can do the persuasion thing where like he's with his sister, he's thinking about his life, and she can write him and say like, I know that your love is your true love is the ocean. My true love has always been you, and blah 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 blah, and
I'm half agony, half hope that you'll take me to India.
and where my only will could be that you could love both of us, the ocean and myself at the same time. Gross. Never mind. Forgot I said that.
She's
That's
a
not the easy fiction waiting to happen.
If you can't leave the ocean, let it be my home too.
Yes.
Something like that.
If you can't leave the ocean, let me my home too.
It's always been you.
It's always been you. Even when circumstances prevailed, I've never stopped loving you. And he's like, oh, okay, sure.
Me neither. That makes two of us.
So you want to go on a boat to India? Then let families do that. But a letter. So exchanges of letters. Hers is very romantic. Mine's like, you have known all my feelings. There's something to India. I can bring a wife. It would have to be more quick than proper. But would you be mine?
And then maybe the two of us have to work together to do something to convince Lavinia that Duke and B need to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot. So what do we think that should be?
Or we can just we can do the Frank Churchill thing. Our engagement was never broken.
So Jane
And just sort of present the letter that I never, like, here's a letter. Turns out I never sent it to you. But like saying that I would be with you always as long as you wanted me. And there's no evidence of her ever saying no, because the town always thought that I was the one who walked away. Like, I never left her. I thought that she left me. But she's been waiting for this whole time. So the breach of faith was never broken. And that's our big lie. And it gets us out of it. We're going to India anyway. I don't care about reputation anymore. So
right, but what are we gonna do to induce Lavinia to let Duke and B be together under the bond? Oh, maybe we can bribe, maybe we let that rumor out and so she would be ruined and so they have to get married.
And just sort of like and it's like, dear lady, I'm the footman. It's no great loss. He has compromised himself with a red-headed woman. I saw her red hair for days. He cannot be engaged to anyone but this woman to this house stand. And that's when you whip off your bonnet. Darcy. Oh, you mean this hair?
What is the word that they use in Regency romance for red hair?
Oh, it's
a teen.
I can never pronounce it. Is it Titian?
Something Titian, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, there's his Titian bride. Oh snap. Sorry, boss.
It's like Cinderella with the slipper, but Beatrice with the hair.
Right.
You're muted, Tessa. You've been muted.
Duke will refuse to reveal the name of the woman he was cavorting with, because he's not going to sully her reputation. He loves her, even though he knows it would mean that he would be guaranteed to marry her. And by now he's in love because they've spent so much time together. He doesn't want to cause her that pain, so he refuses to name the woman with the Titian red hair.
And so in what is a combination of betrayal and love, Maya or Theo can slip that to the town gossip.
Yeah, or like dramatically reveal her hair in the middle of
Yes. Or Maya.
I like that.
Yeah. At church service, Maya bumps her sister's bonnet. And her hair on the back.
Maya, yes, I love that.
And Erin's like, I like that you had red hair, B. And then Lavinia's like,
Uh-oh.
fine.
A scarlet woman.
But y'all ain't staying in my house. I will let the crumbling manor of your friend, and you can there. So I'm going to, not France, it's treason right now. Somewhere else. Switzerland, going to men skiing or something.
One of the places the French colonized.
Well, India has parts that were colonized by the French too. You can go to Pondicherry with us.
I need a tour.
Grand tour, yes.
Okay.
No
So,
one can come.
So Lavinia she's just tired of this whole thing, and she's just fine with Beatrice now, or do we want to have more of somebody winning her over, or having Duke make a plea, or having Maya somehow turning Lavinia in her sister's favor, or are we deciding that?
I think we come back from the tour and she's mellowed.
Okay.
So I think
I speak excellent French.
Oh, a point in your favor.
Perfect.
Savez-vous, madame?
Well, then can we get like a little like epilogue scene of each? Can we get the Maya and Theo like maybe boarding the boat for India? And can we get some nice final moment between Duke and Beatrice now that Lavinia has given them her blessing?
Double wedding before they take off.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Double wedding?
Yeah, we'll do a double wedding at my crumbling but still artistic manor. My mother is there for a ceremony and sends us off with all her love. It's the first time she's been in town. So she's returned to her house with honor, which is what I wanted. I shake the hand of my dear friend Marmsey. I look deep into his eyes. And then I take my arm of my bride and keep walking.
We're definitely, sorry, go ahead.
And then we flash forward to us on a boat.
I have to have a nice goodbye scene with Maya, though. I'm sorry that I was always trying to push you, and I just really always wanted what was best for you, and all I wanted is for you to be happy, and I'm glad you're happy.
And you're happy. That was my dearest wish, to make you happy.
And we're definitely conceiving our first kid in that pond.
Without the bonnet. Bonnet anywhere.
I throw the bonnet away. You
I
must promise me to never hide yourself again.
Nothing but a bonnet.
This
Oh, God. That's so good. That's so good. Oh, look, this is Loki.
In her bonnet.
Cameo from Loki. Hi, sweetheart. That's enough. Okay. That's enough.
So we're in the high seas. They're doing
In the pond. We're all in water. It's good.
and Lavinia is packing for a grand tour and roasting the last of the swans for a village feast.
Wonderful. Awesome. So we feel complete with that story?
So
I think so.
I have finally worked off my persistent problem.
Walking issue.
Yeah. My very hard problem.
swim it off, baby.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. You guys made this game really fun. Everybody did an excellent job. I hope that this was helpful or at least entertaining for those of you who are viewing. I really appreciate everybody who took the time to be with us here tonight and to watch and to make comments. If you're able to, there are some great comments in the live stream, some great ideas from other experienced players of stuff we didn't cover here or ways to tweak the game more in your favor. There's still a lot of great virtual JaneCon programming coming up the rest of this weekend. So be sure to check out that program, which is linked in the description. In particular, there is a session, I believe tomorrow morning on 18th century being portrayed in role-playing games, which may be of interest to some of our viewers. And just a lot of other great programs, a lot of discussions of Jane works and adaptations of Jane's works and books and movies and the Regency period. So do check it all out. Please check out all these authors' amazing books. Again, there are links in the description for you to pre-order or order their books and to follow them. There's also information about ordering Good Society and getting more help playing the game from other videos by story brewers. So lots of great links in the description. And so I want to thank again everybody for being here, for supporting this, and for having a good time. It's been a lot of fun. So if you guys all want to say goodbye as I end this live stream.
Bye-bye.
Super fun.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for putting
you,
this all
Lindsay, for
together.
making this
Round of
happen.
applause for Lindsay.
Thank you. Thank you. It was my pleasure. I had such a good time, and I hope that we can find occasions to do this again. So watch out, I guess, for virtual JaneCon next year.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
All right.